Okay, there we go. All right, so the stream is live. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got right now. People are just going to trickle in, and then you're just going to realize what's happening, and they're probably just going to trickle out.
Yeah, most likely.
Send me a link to like the stream.
Because large portions of this book are probably going to be insanely boring.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. I put a link to the stream in the group chat.
Okay.
Guess if you want to share it out. So this is a attempt at a charity live stream. There's like a 99% chance that we won't get a single dollar because nobody will know what is supposed to happen. So for anybody who's in this chat right now, I'm probably going to say this like 2 or 3 times throughout the entire live stream. So if anybody is curious, this is sort of like a New Year's Eve charity live stream that's done like the day before New Year's Eve because I'm doing something else on New Year's Eve. But essentially, it's a live stream where I've turned on Super Chat. Now, normally I haven't turned on Super Chat. I don't turn it on because I think Super Chat is a gross exploitation of the proletariat. But I've turned it on this time because all proceeds are going to go to Doctors Without Borders. Whether anybody's going to donate to Super Chat is a different conversation I'm not having. Today we're going to... So first off, let me introduce everybody here. Oh, no!
Whoa,
no, Sean already did.
Absolute madman.
That son of a bitch.
Wow, nice. Thanks, man.
Thank you very much, Sean Henley. All the money is going to Doctors Without Borders. So Médecins Sans Frontières. Yes. Yes.
Save the
Yes,
jungle
Panda, to
children.
save the jungle children. In the war-torn jungles of Syria. So it's going to Doctors Without Borders, if anybody is curious. It's going to be whatever is after YouTube takes their cut, because YouTube takes a cut. So like whatever check YouTube sends me for the Super Chat stuff, it's just going to be whatever I just forward over to the charity. Do people not know what Doctors Without Borders is?
I think everyone knows it's possible.
I guess so. Title's pretty self-explanatory, but
Okay.
I guess
Okay.
it's good to look at it.
So let me introduce everybody here. So I've got with me here, I've got, do you want me to call you Alpha or Zoe?
Zoe.
All right. So we've got Alpha here. And do you have a YouTube channel?
No, thankfully. Thank God.
Same, dude. Or not anymore.
We've also got Jaden, the Cynic Clinic.
Yo,
We've got the CEO of Senritsu Subs, Kenji,
Hell yeah.
and we've got Santagon. I don't know how to introduce you.
This Pentagon's good enough.
All right, cool. So, okay, so let's get the book. So, what is this live stream going to be? This live stream is going to be a very terrible, probably tchotchke narration of Jack Garbarino's book, The Movement: How I Got This Body by Never Going to the Gym in My Life. So, technically speaking, this is the best AnyTube live stream because you get great workout tips for cheap.
it's actually productive.
Yeah, let's go with that. So you can lose weights. Lose weight.
Lose weight. You lose your workout equipment.
Okay, so let's see how this is gonna go. Occasionally, we'll probably stop. And thank you very much, Saber Blue. Hey there, big boy. Okay, cool, awesome. Thanks. You've just saved the life of a poor little boy in Syria.
Yep.
Then
there
so, occasionally, I think it's a good idea to occasionally stop to like respond to things in the chat or whatnot, so we don't run.
I was gonna say to reflect on what we just read.
Well, we could reflect on what we just read.
So, what do you think Galvarino is saying in this paragraph?
All right, so let's get this book ready here.
Yeah.
Who wants to start off, or do you want me to start off?
I think you should start, Joe.
Yeah, I probably should.
Okay. All right, sure. Okay, let's start at the beginning. So first off, some names and characteristics of people, places, and things have been changed or fictionalized to protect the privacy of the individuals involved. The exercises present in this book are to be performed at your own risk. Always consult with your physician before beginning any workout regimen. Thank you very much, Ken Saber Blue. You've now saved a Syrian family. You're a regular superhero. Okay, so let's begin. Chapter 1. Something that was mine. Steps. 4 seemed like 14 to me. It was hard with legs like mine. By the way, if anybody's listening to this while they're driving, please, you can use this as an audiobook if you want. Most middle kid students headed to gym class had thin legs. Some had muscles, like defined legs, muscles. Those were the ones that would torment me fairly soon, straight through to high school. Needless to say, I was that kid. The one fat kid in every school that was unfortunate enough to not have something to make himself stand out from my weight. Thank you. Thank you, Connor. Some kids have, fuck, people, I'm trying to read this goddamn book here. Giving money to Syrians? Some kids have awesome baseball cards or a rich parent to brag about me. I was lucky enough even to have one of those parents, but she was not rich. Not even enough to purchase baseball cards. All of our money, some kids would say too much of it, went to feeding the two of us. I'll tell you what we had that most children, jungle children, as I've come to learn, were starved of even more than food. Fun.
What?
Oh, wow.
I pulled open the classroom door. Hey, Jack Porter, shouted one of the kids. Following the announcement was the typical chorus of students' laughter. At that point, I would normally puff up my round cheeks and shuffle the sandy brown hair from my face. This time, I let it slide. He actually mentioned my name, so that was a plus. Better to know that I wasn't just a big round ball to them. Hi, I said meekly. I shuffled through the not as quiet giggly to my seat in the front of the class. And yes, I knew what I was doing, setting myself up to be an even bigger target. The fat kid who was also super studious, and the teacher's pet. Like with my weight, I refused to defend myself. In actuality, I only sat up front because of my poor vision. Okay, first off, we've just got a bunch of donations. Thank you very much, Sheep. Thank you very much, Codelink. Thank you very much, Soda Man. Together, you have collectively formed Captain Earth to save some poor Kurdish girl from ISIS.
Oh my god.
On days like these, when the cold outside caused my breath to fog up my glasses, it was better not to wear them at all, but I was quickly regretting that decision. The teacher, Mr. James, had scripted something onto the chalkboard. To me, it read something along the lines of, "Lawn of motives?"
What?
Did he have a stroke? I regretted what I did next, but it was too late. My hand was raised.
Oh,
Another round of laughter resonated through the class. This time my cheeks had puffed up. This, Mr. Garbarino, says laws of motion, not line of motives. I would suggest bringing your glasses from now on. I don't know why he talks like that, but whatever. Mr. James said coldly. He wasn't the nicest teacher, but he was the smartest. First of all, Scrolls, why do you donate $20? Because you get paid to Patreon. I got lost. Where was
Suggest you bring. He wasn't the nicest teacher, but he was the smartest.
Oh, okay. He wasn't the nicest teacher, but he was the smartest. He knew his sciences, chemistry, biology, anatomy. I hope you read the homework, because I want you to recite before the class what the first law is. Stand up and say it, please. The please was unexpected, but even without that addition, I would have stood anyways. Newton's first law of motion says that unless an external force acts upon an object, it is at a constant rate of motion or inertia. Very good, you may sit. My God, this is boring as hell. Jack Garbarino's ghostwriter?
Austin Bowers.
He was sleeping, man. He was
If
asleep.
anyone has any questions, by the way, I have direct contact with the ghostwriter through LinkedIn, so I can
that's
ask
true.
him
That's true.
anything
This
to clarify.
This is a very special day
Yeah.
because we have direct contact to the ghostwriter through LinkedIn.
Yeah. So if anyone wants me to ask a question directly to Austin Bowers, the ghostwriter of Jack Garbarino's The Movement, How I Got This Body by Never Going to the Gym a Day in My Life, just ask me and we'll relay the message to him. I'm sure he will swiftly respond.
Maybe he will ghostwrite Kenji's book.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, dude. My subbing anime book. 5 tricks to translate anime. Oh yeah.
The origins of Senritsu subs.
Dark history.
Where's let's see here. Okay. This seems like he's just getting bullied.
Yeah.
Which is kind of boring.
Yeah.
Let's get
Hang
to
on,
the sexy part of the book.
Just before we switch, I just want to point out one thing I've noticed. The next line says, "And like that, the bullying me portion of class was over. Mr. James, in his trademark lab coat with his initials MJ stitched into the breast pocket." Is it just a coincidence that his first name also starts with an M, or is his initials MJ for Mr. James? Because that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Mr.
You're right.
MJ. Mr. J.
Mr. J. Like, is his first name Mister? What? What the fuck, Austin Bowers? Hang on, I need to clarify. This will be. I'm going to do the first question. To
It's a
Austin
good thing.
Bowers.
It's a good thing you have access to him.
Yes, I have direct. Let me see.
His teacher also just called a high school kid Mr. Garbarino.
Excuse me,
Like, this is some...
Bowers. I have an inquiry about.
Tell him you're a strapping young lad.
Yes, of course. I am a strapping young lad from the jungles of Syria.
A strapping young lad from Syria.
About your
I'm a strapping
Famous
young lad from Syria.
novel.
I've recently come across this book and I would like to use it to work out because they have destroyed all of the gyms.
In chapter 1, page. What page is it?
Thank you for the donation, Laffer Style. His name is
6.
actually Michael Jackson, I bet.
Page 6.
Whoa.
The chemistry teacher, Mr.
Net.
James.
Did he? Did he?
Yo, nah.
Net.
Has the initials
Oh,
You're right.
yes.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Her net one was...
Oh.
into his lab coat breast pocket. if you could clear up
Oh my gosh. This is terrible.
on whether
Because the net few minutes were silent.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, this is not going to be a 12-hour stream. I
yeah, hell no.
could barely be alive for.
His first name coincidentally starts with M, or if the
Okay,
initials.
let's get to something inspirational. Very inspirational.
Thank you.
Okay,
for your
where does Steve Jobs come into this?
Okay, I have sent the message to Austin Bowers. I expect a swift reply.
Oh my God! Steve Jobs makes a cameo right at the end of the first chapter.
Oh, whoa.
Oh my gosh.
With the high fields of snow at the sides of the what happened came next as an utter shock. Suddenly, and from both sides, I was pelted by deeply packed snowballs. I yelped as I raised my hands to shield my face. It did little good. Someone out of all of my assailants was making tiny snowballs, and they all pierced my flimsy shield. I turned and ran, the snowballs unceasing. I turned just enough to see the bus pulling up. I ran inside of it, still being pelted, when, "Hey, knock it off!" the bus driver yelled at whomever was behind the assault. I was confident it was to be at my defense, but then she yelled, "You're getting water on the steps! Stop it!" Oh my God, that's rough. Even though it wasn't solely for my benefit, I was happy when the onslaught was over, not just for today, but my week was over. For 2 days, I was now free of the torment and mocking tendencies of Harrison and his buddies. For 2 days, it was just me and my buddy, Steve Jobs.
What?
Yeah, they're my best friend.
Holy shit.
Right at the end of the first chapter.
Oh my God.
Steve Jobs.
Right there, right at the end of the first chapter. My buddy, Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Okay.
Dude, my best buddy.
Yo, Steve Jobs.
There's something very strange about this, because every time he talks to Steve Jobs, he keeps calling him Steve Jobs. Like in chapter 2, here, Zoe, can you
Yo.
get to?
Chapter 2? I can.
Yes, can you get to? Let's see here. I think it's like page 19.
Yeah, it's page
Yeah.
17 for me.
Yes, yeah. It's where
Chapter
Steve
2,
Jobs
off
makes an
the- Off
appearance.
the rail I go. Should I just start?
Sure.
Okay. After warming up at home, snuggled under my bed sheets, I pulled up my science note textbook and commenced reading the chapter assigned. This one was about the laws of motion as well, but it went more into detail than Mr. James had earlier. It applied those rules to the usefulness of the 6 simple machines: levers, pulleys, wedges, inclined planes, screws, wheels, and axles. It said how levers were the external forces that initiated movement in something. The rate at which object moved was affected by pulleys and inclined planes. Whether they slowed or increased the speed of an object depended on how they were used. For example, a car going up an inclined plane, expressway exit, is immediately slowed upon contact with it. However, the force of a pulley or the elastic force of a rubber band could propel an object much faster than its normal means. Wedges, screws, wheels, and
Oh my God.
what secured the levers, pulleys, and planes? For elastic of a rubber band to be stretched, a wedge must be applied to one of its ends, like a finger. Screws and wheels are perfect for keeping levers and other gear controls in place in proper order. Wow, interesting. I put notes on all goddamn every last detail I thought might be pertinent. I was going to be ready for my quiz on Mon. Oh wait, the field trip was Monday.
It's just like a Goosebumps book.
We're having an extra day of study. I was suddenly more thrilled about this weekend now that I could study a little less. When the doorbell rang, I practically shot down the stairs. And yes, Steve was a good enough friend that my excitement outweighed my hatred for running. I shouted at my mother as I was answering the door. She didn't respond, so she was probably out back. She didn't have much of a garden, but that didn't stop her from trying to build one. I yanked the door wide open, and to my surprise, Steve wasn't there. It was his mother. She usually waited at the car while he entered. Oh my god. Hi, Mrs. Jobs, I said, slightly unnerved. I tried to peek around her, but our doorway was too skinny. I couldn't get a look at the car. He's back at home. He needs to finish his homework before he can play. So I came to pick you up without him. It should be done by the time you get there, she said so gingerly. She was always sweet to me. Never a harsh word or comment about my weight with her.
Always on about his weight.
I truly wish my classmates would adapt her attitude. She peered at me with her warm eyes, so vibrant and full of light. It was almost like when my mom would console me about the bullies. What the fuck? But still, I felt a sense of dread washing over me. I was going to find out why pretty soon. I was in the front seat, never buckled after a stern reminder from Mrs. Jobs. I never really liked seatbelts. The strap was uncomfortable. Mrs. Jobs offered to stop at nearly every
Holy shit.
nearly every fast food place we crossed on the way to our home.
She's like the witch from Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah.
Brownie eggs on the
You want
bus
meat?
going off for a time meeting. It took some time, but I realized that she was only trying to buy time for Steve to finish his homework. Her frantic, every 10-second glances at her watch gave her away. When she offered to buy me something from McDonald's, I finally consented. So how are things going at school, Jack? She asked and wiped her mouth full of grease and ketchup. They're going fine. I'm still holding a steady 3.2 GPA. My mom says if I get a 4.0, she'll take me to a 5-star restaurant from every day. I explained. I guess I was hungry after all. I bit into my cheeseburger, and then my stomach immediately bellowed its approval. That's good. A young man working hard should always be rewarded. However, she trailed off and sipped her drink. What is it? I asked, feeling another speech on the horizon. The muscle in her jaw moved back and forth, and she contemplated speaking up. When she sighed, I knew it was coming. Jack, I know your mother loves you. And I do too. But she sucked in her breath. I think you should try eating a little healthier. It's fine if you want to eat often, but perhaps try substituting some of the sweets and vegetables. I eat vegetables, I said defensively. What did you have for lunch today? Her voice had lost its warmth and replaced with dense swirl with condensation. What was the word from passion? Back then I could not exactly clearly tell the two apart with most people. Steve wasn't always clear to me, but his mother surely wasn't. I ate 2 slices of pizza, a brownie, and a carton of chocolate milk.
Oh my god.
Looking out
I ate a card of chocolate. Jesus Christ.
Yes, she was going down the compassion route, but there were vegetables on the pizza, I stated. Olives, mushrooms, and peppers. She shook her head. Jack, I need you to do more than that. I want you to promise me something okay. I felt I had no other choice. I want you to eat 3 fruits and vegetables every day from now on. Can you do that? I nodded again. I want you to understand something. Those 6 fruits and vegetables are to each one thing you would usually eat throughout the day. 1 less pizza slice in exchange for 1 more piece of broccoli. Do you understand? Does it have to eat broccoli?
What's wrong with it? Broccoli is delicious.
Yeah, I like broccoli. What the
Yeah.
hell?
Oh, why we're on the subject. How do you feel about carrots?
This does not seem like a real conversation.
No, it does.
The
That's
answer
how I
back
talk to my mom, dude. What the hell?
but they eat fat. These are delicious, I exclaimed. I've been to a carrot stick once again and chewed away. It was like biting into a solid but brittle piece of orange chalk, but it tasted way better. I couldn't realize my palate was so small. It was like this bittersweet stick. I reached into the bag and pulled a handful of them. Mrs. Jobs gave me a sheet of paper towel to hold them as I ate. We were in her living room, waiting on Steve to make his appearance. We had arrived only minutes ago, but the wait was killing me. Ate them these carrots. What? I wish broccoli tasted this good. We were perched on their long, white leather couch. It was slippery beneath my round feet.
Not
Not
the ones
only
that puff
that
up.
popped off, but the pillows behind me were soft as marshmallows against my aching back. I was not going to sit on Mrs. Jobs' front seat again. So how much homework did I give him? It's almost 5:30, I said. I was losing patience. I wanted my best friend now. I wanted to go to his room, play video games, and read through his comics. Lately, reading comics was being replaced by fidgeting around the electronics in his room. It was developing this sort of engineer side to him. It was even cooler than comics. It should be over soon, she said. Looked down my paper towel. Would you like some more carrots? I nodded. She grabbed my towel from me and went back to the kitchen. I leaned back and nestled deeper into my pillow. I heard the sound of a dress she was tapping on marble and turned right. I looked and saw Steve descending the stairs with his father and three other men. What? What?
No.
This got weird.
The three objects dressed in the same suit. Like Mr. James, there was something written on the breast pockets. I believe the initials were DJH. I was certain that the J and H stood for junior high. The C was new to me. Wait, no, it was C.
You can't differentiate a C from a D.
I got a better look than crossed the front door. CJH? I wasn't sure what that was, but I had never heard of the school with those initials. Steve and his father, Mr. Jobs, bade farewell to the men and closed the door. Mrs. Jobs joined them at the door, and she whispered to both of them. When she whispered to Steve, she pointed in my direction. Oh. He whirled down with the biggest smile on his face, and like that, I'd forgotten about the carrots, the quiz, the field trip, everything. I'd see that smile again, and not something in my future. The jungle children again. I would love and be loved as he was giving me. What?
All right, I think that's a good time to now shift to Jaden, and once we get to the jungle children.
Oh my god.
Oh man. All right.
Make the video.
So where am I pick?
Steve grabbed my arm.
We should probably jump to like the jungle children part,
Oh, sure.
but like
That's
when did
that's a
the
fair
show?
bit.
I'm curious
That's
about that, actually.
Yeah. Well, I think. Do you think it would be okay to mess with the chronology?
I think we'll have
Shit, I think
I think
this
we'll
will be here
have
for
to.
all day.
Yeah. All right. I'll jump to Jungle Children then.
I think it was like
If
page
ever-
37 or 38. Like
Oh,
that's
Jungle Children.
that's when they showed up.
Jungle children.
So if anybody is just coming in and confused of what's going on, we are reading
my
off
God.
parts of Jack Garbarino's award-winning book.
So
The
page
movement.
49.5.
Yeah, for me, I have it like 38. I think let's go with the sentence. There were several statues of Roman gladiators.
Wait, where's that?
Okay.
There were.
Yeah,
Okay.
hang on, I'll have to
We're skipping the Oriental children part.
Oh my Christ. I'm like half paying attention because I'm like helping a friend out with something, and I just hear like tidbits like, Are we skipping the Oriental children
Yeah.
part? It's
Yeah, my pages are all out of whack. Hang on a second. I'm trying to figure out how to do the search function on.
My God.
Do you know what chapter it's in, Joe?
It's in the next chapter.
Okay, so chapter 3.
Part where it says there are several Roman gladiators.
Yeah,
Several
it's,
statues.
yeah, it's in What I Have Yours, the next chapter.
I'm sad with skipping the Oriental children. Wow.
Okay, I got it. Alright. There were several statues of Roman gladiators, a few tomes with historical records, and weaponry from the era laid out in display cases from the ground floor and on the walls to the topmost floor. I could spy around 15 or so. We all split off to examine what most drew our eyes. For me, it was one of the gladiator statues. This one was chiseled out of some kind of marble stone, but was adorned with what I guessed was a man-made replica of the armor they wore back then. Of course it was a man-made replica. The armor itself would have been man-made. If it was authentic, then good for the museum. Meant they had the funds to acquire such rare items to casually put on display for middle schoolers. I got as close to the statue as I could without crossing the barrier erected by the 4 poles and velvet ropes. I ordered the cape, the armor, and the muscles so expertly sculpted. In my wildest dreams, I would ever possess muscles of that magnitude. Not to mention that the spear in the statue's hand was likely heavier than it looked, skinny as it was. I couldn't throw that now. I had 5 other versions of myself to help out. What? Oh, okay. He can like clone himself, apparently. And that's without even knowing the proper form to throw the spear. This is the type of person that Harrison would be. This fucking Harrison kid. Me? I'd be his servant. His porker. Holy shit. Even in this period. I must have spoken
the prison.
Yeah, being a server named His Porker has a different vibe than I think Austin Bowers intended. I must have spoken that last few thoughts out loud without realizing it, because afterwards came, "You're too hard on yourself." I turned and saw Petey, the tour guide, approaching me from my left, my good side. I wish I was hard on myself, I countered, lying. I was comfortable with my life. It was everyone else who had issues. Oh my god. Oh my god. Then I guess that young man breaking the rules and touching the glass cases over the assortment of knives isn't Harrison, Petey said. He nodded behind me. I turned and saw Harrison doing just what he described. Shouldn't you go stop him? I asked. I blinked when I turned back to Harrison. I knew he wasn't as sharp as I was, but he seemed smarter than just to blatantly break the rules like that. I was hoping this would teach him a lesson. Oh, he's on camera. In a few minutes, if he doesn't change his behavior, security will take action, Petey said. But it was oddly in that same welcoming tone he addressed us with moments ago. Strange. At least I knew Harrison well enough that he would not grow bored of touching the knives anytime soon. He could entertain a thought for ages. Just to give you a sense, I've been porker since about 3rd grade. So why do you compare yourself with him so much? Petey's voice was the same degree of warm as before, but the question felt like an all-too-powerful ice cream headache that had suddenly and fiercely affected me. I shook my head in response. Don't want to talk about it. Fair enough. I foolishly hoped that was the end of the conversation. You know, he started, gladiators aren't as great as most people would believe them to be. Strong and dutiful soldiers. Some, but most did nothing besides follow the orders of another. Another? Another gladiator? That didn't make sense. Unless one of the gladiators was placed in charge of the others, like the general of some great army. Which I guess they technically were at some point in history. They were led, instructed, and ordered around by a rather enigmatic, hedonistic dictator that would sit around most of each day being bathed and serviced by many that he would barely appreciate if not for the fact they did those things for him But Jesus, run on sentence. But even then, it wasn't expected. And it's still going. And that dictator usually enjoyed his life. He could care less if one of the soldiers were more physically fit than himself. All he cared for was the pursuit of life's pleasures, but not its burdens. Although he was oblivious to the burden he placed on others. I'm sorry, I'm not following you, I admitted. Petey wasn't making much sense, due in part to his jubilant demeanor while delivering such a morbid tale. It's not the kind of language you'd expect a 9-year-old who can't differentiate D from C.
Right.
What I'm saying is, the dictator was even larger than you, but had no self-conscious perception. Conscience, yeah, I thought so. Self-conscious perceptions of himself when in the presence of those more, muscled than himself. He didn't need muscles. He had what he coveted, and he had what he coveted, then he doesn't covet it.
Right.
And he wasn't...
What? Oh my god.
Wow. Need to conform yourself simply because another has something seemingly glamorous. What you have is yours, and unless you want it, you have to be different. Do not change. So, you want me to stay fat? I believe he was getting to that point. No, he shook his head. I want you to decide if you want that. Not for someone else to come along and say, you should have been that way the whole time, but for you to say, I'm glad I made this choice. It's double quotation marks there. His emphasis on the word I made it clear this time around. And my answer, I was staying the course I determined just yesterday. I would eat more vegetables just as long as Steve Jobs and his family would still around. And not shorter.
Steve Jobs has a very critical role in this story.
Yes, key character. I wasn't sure who this man was or why he'd come to talk to me when the other kids in the group were more willing to speak with him. He was a different kind of adult. Nicer, kinder. Not like Mrs. Jobs, though. His kindness, it seemed to come with more something in his voice. I couldn't pinpoint what it was. I would later. I would know what was different about the voice when it came my time to deliver it to another. It came out for one of the jungle children. His name was Dende. Dende. My boy, Dende.
Dende.
All right.
Do you want me to keep going, or someone else will pick it up from there?
Well, let's.
Ken, do you read?
No, dude, I'm like doing something right now. I can't read. I'm like barely even paying attention to the reading itself, which I'm sorry about.
Kenji. Okay, let's see what the comments are like here. What do we talk about here by Fino Nero? Well, we're reading off bits and pieces of Jack Garbarino's The Movement. How I got this body by never going to the gym.
A day in my life.
Oh yes, day in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And we just finished up Steve Jobs affecting his life, and somehow I don't know. It's nonsense.
Yeah. For anyone interested, I'm not really sure we're allowed to show the cover. Or we're not really allowed to show the thing, but I'll put a link to the cover in the chat here, so you can put a face. Oh, hey, I can't put the link in there.
I'll just link it to me in the group chat, and then I will link it to you. I will link it. Yes, Soda Man. This is a very real book.
Yes. So I just want everyone to put a face to the,
So
their mental image.
so everybody knows
Yes.
what we're talking about when we're talking about Jack Garbarino.
Jack Garbarino.
The link's broken.
Is it? Oh my god.
Is it?
It says 400 bad quest.
Oh no, it doesn't work.
Oh no.
Oh no.
This is probably the darkest day.
Oh, yes. All right. Maybe I'll just link direct to the Amazon book, and that way people can support The original artist.
Original. Don't buy this book. Don't buy it.
All right,
Please
put
don't
the
buy the
Amazon link there. Oh my god,
Is the
that
end.
one's broken too. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
It's Amazon in Syria.
I wish.
That's a good
well.
question.
Yo, are we supporting the YPG?
Well, then I guess everyone will
Oh my
forever.
god. I like the dog on the Amazon 404 page. The dog.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I want to see this dog really quick. Hold up.
You don't have
Where's
time
the-
to read
I
the
like
book, but you
dogs.
have time to look at the dog.
Dude, I fucking love dogs, okay? Where's the dog?
They love cats.
I love both dogs. Oh, fuck, I just saw the dog. That's so cute. I like that dog.
Yeah.
It has, like, long legs. That's
Everyone,
nice.
if you want to see the face, then I guess everyone's just gonna have to Google it on their own time, which is a shitload of effort. I understand. So
These dogs all look terrified.
I think this is kind of tricky and blowing up in my face wildly, primarily due to the fact that this book would take too long to narrate. So
Yeah.
let's just do like a normal, regular live stream.
I like Rupert.
oh, we need to read at least the baboons chapter.
Oh yeah, the baboons.
Yeah,
All right,
I see that.
let's do it.
This is kind of cute, but I like Rupert the
Let's
most.
do baboons. All right, Zen, how about you? You want to do baboons?
What chapter is this? Chapter 5?
Chapter
Or-
9.
Chapter 9. Okay, we're gonna.
This is the infamous Jungle Children.
All right, let me get to that chapter real quick. I'm ready. Chapter 9. Baboons. Oh lord, this is gonna be. This is gonna be something else. Right. All right. Okay, I'm ready. Chapter 9. Baboons. There is little joy in the next decade or so of my life. Well, in comparison to the tragedy that just wrapped up, I'm going to wait. Oh, I read that really badly. I read that like something more after that. I'm going I'm going to do explain. I'm going to do explain
Pretend like
based
this one of your scripts, my dude.
No, if I see it on my script, I'm gonna stop and be like, "What the fuck did I just write?" To explain, based on how my relationships with various people were headed to the crapper. First, and most importantly, Amber. When we were first arrived, Amber loved the life out of. Wait, I just go past the page. For the life out of in Africa we were sharing. It was a brand new adventure, both for her and for me. To be honest, it didn't seem as much of a chore when she came around. Just like the first day in Neptune Fitness wasn't terrible. They were more similar than I had taken the time to notice. Both are full of life, jubilant to be working with jungle children, young enough to be their young older sisters. The biggest similarity between those two lovely ladies were that they both enjoyed helping others, which was a given since this was a charitable group. But Amber had a need to help others that was beaten into her by her grandparents. That's why she first reached out to me. She saw a man in need of a little assistance, and she knew how to give it. The thing was, her throw of helping me had ended, and so had a strong foundation of our relationship. I wasn't the sick, damaged puppy as I was when we first met, and it was taking everything she had to stay faithful to us. I figured at the time that it was an issue of our commitment to us, so I proposed. She said yes, and I guess the prospect of being with me through all the ups and downs, particularly the downs, was made her say it. Was made her say it.
It's so hard narrating this book because you think that you like slipped over a word or something, but no, it was never there in the first place.
It had taken about 3 years of planning and a lot of work, but we were married. Lex was her maid of honor. Dende was my best man.
Dende was my best man. I just keep imagining Dende from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, this little Namek child just.
Jack Garbarino standing
It's
muscle.
100% where he would have gotten the name from, because the dude is the huge dork.
Yeah, he's a huge dork, and like his favorite movie is like Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
Yeah.
All right, so he could be called a man now. Actually, just simply on how he looked. He was only 14, but he had muscles like Riley-sized muscles, and he was tall. His growth spurt was incredible. A 6 foot tall, reformed club rotund member, but he still looked to me as a mentor, and I was pleased. Our vows are our own, and they were sweet. I could see the subliminal messages behind hers.
Oh shit! For a second,
Stay
I got
fat. Oh.
for a second I got confused with what I was like. I thought it was like Jack and Dende's vows to each other. I got confused. It was
Well, yeah, that's because he spent all like an entire paragraph describing Dende and how jacked he was.
yeah, loving me describing Dende's muscles and how
Oh, he's just
tall and
Yeah,
strong
like the
he
altar,
was.
right? Like be at the altar and then just turn off to Dende. Like, will you marry me, Dende?
Yeah. Okay, so like to recap for a second, literally said in the previous paragraph, he was only 14, but he had muscles like Riley-sized muscles, and he was tall. His growth spurt was incredible. A 6 foot tall reformed club rotund member. He's a 14-year-old 6 foot tall Riley-sized muscle monster. He's literally how Kubo Tide designs characters.
All right, where are we at? Yeah, stay fat, stay large, stay broken. I needed you broken, so very broken.
Jesus Christ.
What a fucking manipulative bitch.
Whatever.
What's it called? I need time, years for you to be what I need you to be, but I wasn't marching to her tune. When she could get no satisfaction from trying to mend my scars, she developed an obsessive need to work the students harder to achieve the level of intelligence that Dende had. She wanted desperately to find a protege to have clinged to. Oh wait, that's right. Okay, to have clinged to her advice, her knowledge, like I had done. Thing was, I didn't search for it. I stumbled upon it. When that also failed for her, she and I grew hostile towards an undash other.
One and
Dash other.
And dash over. Does he know another is a single word?
Oh Lord. Fighting quiet little battles. Meaningless, childish ones. One day I wouldn't bring her coffee when she slept in. Another, she wouldn't pass me the salt for my mashed potatoes. It's so petty.
Yeah. It goes from their wedding to our relationships falling apart in the space.
Oh yeah, in the span of one paragraph.
And you can see why, because he's clearly in love with Dende instead.
It's Riley muscles.
He's a 6 foot tall Riley muscle.
14-year-old.
14-year-old boy.
A big ass 14-year-old. You really 14? I don't know. That's questionable. Things like that. They became our unraveling, but the major tug was yet to be made. By this point, we were trapped in a circle of faint affection and hidden animosity, but we kept a face. Lex and Dende were still our friends, and they are going to be friends too. We wanted them to not have to choose sides for our splitting, so we kept things as amicable as possible. We could, not possible. Lex and I were friends first, but order doesn't necessarily detect rank. Yes, I was the first to be her friend amongst myself, Amber, and Dende, but Amber was more her type of person to chat with, share secrets with, model herself after. Lex did not share the same upbringings as Amber. Her desire to want to help people was similar to my own. But she and Amber had an undying compulsion to fix other people's problems. Amber only needed it more. Lex could pick and choose between her options, but she made sure to keep options. In a sense, she and Amber became those for another, without realizing it. I saw they reassure each other, the bond evidence there, but it was fleeting. The more that Lex started to grow from that, the more that their bond was doomed. Any bond with Amber was doomed, but it seemed like that way for me as well. Well, Amber seems like a really fun person to be around. Another couple of years have passed by, and things mended between Amber and I somewhat. But now she had a new issue on her mind, trying to get back to her original game plan of real estate in Africa. The past 5 years the past 5 or so years, she slowly abandoned that road, but it was here now and stronger than before. We started our arguments for a second time, but this one wasn't going to end until we did. I was content with staying in Africa for the rest of my life. I would repeatedly say to her in hopes that it would cease the argument for a couple of days. It would, and I would enjoy Africa with peace for those same days. Teaching didn't have the same reward, albeit, since the students were back to being the same old types year after year. The quiet, studious ones, the loud, rambunctious ones, the bullies, the ones who slacked off just enough to get by. No one stood out, made an impression. No one could differentiate each other from the predecessors that fell into their group. Dende must have been a lucky break for me for this village. What? This nigga really loves Dende. Like,
Yeah.
dude, chill.
This
ring on his
secret
finger.
story going
He
on.
really wants Dende.
Oh, man. Dende had joined the guards when his schooling was deemed over. He was much better with a pistol than I was.
Whoa.
Akon? Wait, what about Akon? I'm sorry, it's like Akon. Huh? That's so random. Alright, he's better with a pistol than I was, and he has better survival instincts. I figured out that he outlasted the rest of us, even students younger than him. I heard the deafening ring that erased all my expectations of his life at the same time. Captain, we all knew instantly what was going down in the brush. Rest in peace, that day. Baboons.
Baboon.
Oh, baboon. Precious Dende, murdered by baboon.
The way that's laid out
What the
is
fuck?
genius.
All right, so let's see here. Code Link has requested page 137 to 138. All right, let's see here. 137 to 138. And I can read this. Let's see here. I don't know where 137 begins, so I'm just going to begin it at last a little thing, Mr. Garbarino, because that seems like the creepiest way to begin. Okay, let's see here. Oh yeah. All right, so let's begin. At last, little thing, Mr. Garbarino, his look turned icy like a lethal frigid blade ready to pierce any vital part of my flesh, which was anywhere, honestly. I swallowed and awaited his final cryptic warning. Stay out of the brush. I spent the rest of the day wondering what just lied within these forest jungles that seemed so scary to everyone. I mean, I'd watched my fair share of Animal Planet. But it didn't seem like every inch of Africa was crawling with creatures that could kill you. I mean, I wasn't going stomping through the Serengeti, but to run with lions and hyenas and cheetahs. I was going to let them hunt other slow, rotund beasts. Okay, so I'm noticing that every time he wants to describe something that's like slow or fat, it's always rotund. Like,
right.
It's always rotund. Like, does not miss a single beat. God damn it, Kenji! Stop timing out Checo.
All right, I'll stop. I got a request from someone in higher up, you know. And the DM, you should ban jump. I was like, all right, I'll stop though.
It's fair, Jacob.
Let's see here. I was going to let them hunt other slow, rotund beasts. My chances of survival against even solo members of those species was low, but they always seemed to work as units on Animal Planet specials. I was prepared to leave an hour prior to the scheduled time, so takeoff was a breeze. The driver and I took very little time in loading my luggage into the trunk, but the road to get to the village was a bumpy one. It was pretty much straight dirt with dips and bumps all along the entire stretch of it. My conversation with the driver was a little rough to understand. "When will we be there?" I asked. "Before dark," he replied. "Could you be more specific?" "Before the stars in the sky become visible," he stated. "So before dark then?" "Yeah." What? He said before dark. What is this conversation? Lovely. All my sarcastic angst was gone. Oh, okay.
Okay.
We reached the village about 2 hours later. I had fallen asleep at one point, but my body did one of those mind-body splits like it did at Dr. Celso's office. I saw all the scenery that I didn't actually see. I still don't understand how, but it was like a force had lifted me from my body to give me a perspective on my own journey. Not retrospective, but current perspective. Current perspective.
Current perspective?
Whoa.
What?
Shit.
The wet jungle leaves and foliage roadways had replaced the incredibly bumpy earthen highway as we were on prior. The brush got closer and closer as the road narrowed. We were so tightly packed between the two sides that some of the leaves, mossy with morning dew, would feel like cool slices against my skin. But if heated slices caused pain, cooled ones awarded one a sense of being refreshed. I saw a thin smile dance along my lips momentarily when it happened. I had been awakened by the driver when we parked near the edge of the village beside 3 other jeeps. I was fully rested. So when I peered over and saw firearms stowed in the trunks, I was kind of alarmed. Were there dangerous people out there in the brush too? Or did they never mean animals to begin with? Were spiders and baboons code names for certain militant groups or something like that?
Oh my lord.
I dismissed them altogether because thinking about that only put my nerves on hyperdrive, and I wanted to appear calm before my teammates and the jungle children. The last thing I needed was my work here to be ruined by a terrible first impression. The area was smaller than I expected it to be. Okay, so let me be clear here. To be was spelt bow. But that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. It just meant that it was harder to get lost and accidentally stray from the village. It was practically one huge circle, or perhaps an oval.
On oval.
I'm not sure exactly how to describe the difference between the two of them. Riley used to say that a basketball was a circle and a football was an oval. What?
What?
I know
What?
what number it is.
What? What are these aphorisms? Basketball is a circle and a football is an oval.
Thank you.
It made sense, but I still couldn't grasp the idea strictly on a definition basis. Oh my god, no. What's happening? This is weird. I found that many things were not as good as I expected them to be. The lodgings were made of bamboo, which was strong, but the bamboo looked as rotten as the tomatoes I would sometimes too forget to eat when I bought them. I thumped the bamboo and it appeared quite solid, scraping my finger in direct opposition to my assault. This feels like it was written by a 14-year-old. Like,
Yeah, this part's getting really sloppy.
it was like
Not that
It's like some
you know,
DeviantArt
amazing
prose, dude.
but this is like
Yeah, do better.
oh, this is some rough DeviantArt
This is the
prose,
best
my
we've
man.
been.
yeah.
It's like the best writing ever I've seen in my life, man. I've never seen better writing than this.
It's Oscar Wilde.
Let's see here. It looked to be about big enough to house no more than 30 to 40 persons. If I had to guess, the 4 drivers, the 4 members of the ACAA, what? ACAACE? Is that a real organization?
I don't know.
ACACE.
ACACE.
Which I guess, which now
I
includes
searched that, and I got the Ace Construction Australia Corporation.
Okay.
So I assume not.
Students, the number of which I was never given, and whoever supplied those firearms. I was hoping that I wouldn't have to learn to use one, but given all the cryptic warnings about the brush, I knew I would need to.
Jesus Christ.
Where's Steve Jobs?
Yeah,
Rip in peace, Steve.
when Steve Jobs died, you know, that's when Jack Garbarino had to come out and reveal himself to be the good friend he is.
What? Like, why is this suddenly Heart of Darkness? I don't. Like,
It is. It's like workout Heart of Darkness. It's so strange.
Right?
this is so weird.
Does he lose weight? I'm still.
I wonder if anyone's actually read this.
I lost weight.
I mean, Cold Link probably has.
Yeah,
He was an expert on this book.
Oh hell yeah, my dude. Anytime I'm lost on anything, I just ask Code Link and he has the answers.
you'll have the page citations.
He cites his work. It's better than 90% of any tubers. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, so now that we know, now that we've had a good taste of this, what are your guys' thoughts?
I just wish there's more Steve Jobs. I'm confused. I want to know where Steve Jobs went.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I think in a lot of ways there's a certain. It's hard to tell how much of on purpose, but I think there's an extra secret story going on underneath, involving an illicit love affair between Jack and Dende.
Yeah, there is a strange like. There's a
And
strange
maybe
like
it's
sort
a
of.
statement against the certain homosexuality laws in Africa. So,
It is.
you know,
Well, like like. I guess it. I mean, like, if you want to take that position, I guess. I guess. It's like, how can I describe this? It's this odd fascination, you know. It's it's just like, yeah, Dende. He's 14, but now he's ripped. Big. I wonder how ripped he is under all that African clothing.
big cold Dende.
Yeah.
God with the movement.
Yeah, that's what it's actually referring to. That's the movement he wants to make, you know.
Oh.
Dende, my dudes.
Yeah. If you go a little bit further down on the next page, you see some of the incredible prose and work. Hi, I'm Jack Garbarino, the new guy, I introduced to her. Hi, Jack Garbarino, she said with a innocently shaped voice. She'd not seen the weapons in the Jeeps. I'm Alexis Jordans, but everyone just calls me Lex. Nice to meet you, Lex.
This is
how real
rude.
people talk.
This is some rude dialogue. Oh, hi, Jack.
Oh, hi, Dende.
Oh, hi, Dendi.
Okay, so Kenji,
Yo, what's up, buddy?
You have to read.
read the last chapter. It's the shortest chapter.
Yes,
It's like
a single page.
All right, buddy. I actually just finished helping out my friend. Chapter 12?
chapter 12.
Yes, right half of the board.
All right, buddy. 1 second here. All right, chapter 12. Right half of the board. And then, up until very recently, has been my life's story. And it's over. And it's not over. Not yet. Still plenty of I'm hoping to achieve. Over the next year and a half, Lex, Andre, and I worked painstakingly long to come to terms with what I wanted my exercises to be. Nice, fun, affordable actions that anyone would be capable of. No need to squander your money at JYM. Why is it spelled like that? Okay, JYMs, or GYMs rather, or as I like to call them, foundations where you. Oh,
Here's your money.
that's epic. I like
No
that.
way.
I had no intentions of taking someone's hard-earned money in exchange for their health. There was nothing noble about that. Well, unless you were a doctor. But they say
Okay.
I've never once heard from anyone I've known that the gym saved their life. What? They said they needed it, but not any longer. Not with my new exercise, which me and my partners dubbed the movement.
Oh
The
no!
movement.
Okay.
Finally.
I'll scroll down here.
New furniture. Finally.
Oh fuck! I lost track.
The movement.
Okay, we have yet to adopt an insignia, but it's hard to develop one for a loosely banded set of exercises we had hammered out. And yes, I'm going to defy the oh fuck. Oh, okay, hold up. This scrolling is so fucking weird on this thing.
Right?
Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is fucked. Hold on. Okay, and yes, I'm going to defy the hedonist assholes twisting things for their enjoyment. I still am. I'm alive. I'm kicking back. I'm back, baby. It's like the Terminator. And I'm on the losing side, at least for now.
I'm so
I
confused.
spend a good deal of time on their side. I realized one day. I remembered what Amber had said. Her main reason was for wanting to divorce. Wait, her main reason for what? I was dragging her around the world, quite literally, to service my whims, aspirations, and dreams. Oh my god! In return, I'd belittled hers, so that she felt there was no true love between us. Yeah, I was one of the hedonistic assholes. That's why they kept me alive. I was one of the
What is this
hedonistic
fucking, like-
assholes. That's why they keep me alive.
What is it like some kind of Matrix type shit? You know what I mean? All distracted.
Yeah, this sounds like something out of a movie.
Wake up,
Like
Jack.
a really horrible movie. They saw I had the heartstrings of a woman. God
What?
damn.
Oh, okay.
What?
Yeah, I could tug on, and I did. Wait, they saw I had the heartstrings of a woman.
Okay,
Okay.
I think it's
Oh,
some strange dependency statement
It's
and
really
not
weird.
sexism.
Yeah.
But now I wasn't that man. I was me, Jack Gabarino.
Okay.
Ah yes, Jack
Can you-
My
Garbarino.
boy.
Anya.
Garino? Garbario. Listen, Lottie, it's too late for this shit. I was going to stay me, the new, more bold, confident version of me. I was going to try and make something that could live beyond me. The fuck? Half of
Like a
my
legacy, baby.
half of my yeah, hell yeah. Half of my life was spent on the wrong half of the board. Now I was playing the half I needed to. I was going to make sure I ended my life on this side, just like Steve Jobs, Dende, and my parents. The gladiator was ready to make his mark.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Jack Garbarino. Jack Garbarino. Okay, there we go. It's Italian. Okay.
Rest in power, Steve Jobs.
The rest in power, Steve Jobs
Jack.
and Dende. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Dende.
And my parents.
So you're strong.
Damn, the Batman's too strong.
I guess the
Ripped
fundamental
Dende.
question is, if you had somebody that you wanted to inspire, would you give this book to them?
If I want to make them laugh, hell yeah. But not to make them like.
I'm so
So-
Inspire them to what is the question? Because there are a couple angles you could approach it. Inspire them to lose weight or inspire them to write gripping prose.
you can say it's gripping prose, but I can disagree.
I'm so confused.
There's definitely some gripping going on with these pros. Not the kind that you might want. though.
Jack
Yeah.
goops the Tinos.
It's just
It's like the
you
tech.
can, I just scrolled up, and this paragraph just sounds great. I had a quick breakfast and got ready to spend my day reflecting on Dende's last words to me. The spectre Dende, not the real Dende. He said, "You've forgotten your dream." What the?
The Spectre Dende.
Not the real Dende. What the fuck does that mean?
If Dende didn't die, he would have lived to be the next little pump. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Oh,
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
The Spectre.
The Spectre.
Dende?
Then the Spectre.
Oh,
The new little punk.
I see.
Oh man.
This is the last paragraph of chapter 11 sounds a little bit like a manifesto.
Mm-hmm.
I looked down at my breast, contemplating the logic of using a gladiator for a logo. After a few minutes, I had my answer. I liked the thought there, but I think it's too aggressive a picture. We're trying to go for simple tasks that can be repurposed as workouts. An insignia of a gladiator would kind of contradict that message. Since gladiators had a tendency to die in combat, we need something just as simple, but alluring. But let's not fight about it right now. We'll take our time, we'll get it right, and we'll help people around the world learn to lose weight, even if it takes cities one at a time to do so.
What?
The city's gonna lose weight.
It's gotta thin down, my dudes.
What is this, like fucking like social cleansing or some shit? Like
Oh yeah, we gotta
it's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
trim the fat.
Yeah, so I'm never gonna read this book in its entirety, but
Oh god.
there is a lot of odd. I wouldn't say odd because that implies that homoeroticism is odd, but
Yeah.
like I would say in the context of what this book is trying to do, there's a lot of odd homoeroticism about Dende,
about Dende, that's
especially
all
since
ripped.
Dende is 14 years old.
14-year-old.
Right?
And yeah, his age is undefined, but I'm assuming that at that stage he was a full-grown adult man.
Now,
Jack
here's a-
Galbarino.
Here's a question to anybody. Okay, so there's this whole gladiator image, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like there's this whole sense, and then there's the triadent, and then there's like the statue with all the big muscles, and then there's this idea of like this classical, but it's like this classical Greco-Roman masculinity, of which you guys, as you guys know, is also a culture that has a very complex history with pederasty. So, do you think the ghostwriter intended for this strangely homoerotic element with Dende? Or was he just like, I'm just going to describe Jack as if he really liked to talk about Dende's 14-year-old muscles?
Well, I could ask him right now.
You're the medium to the dad. You're the only one who
Yes.
can talk to the ghostwriter.
To the ghostwriter.
Spectre.
Spectre. Not the real ghostwriter, the Spectre.
Because I don't know if it's all coincidental, right? It could all be coincidental. Like he just wanted like an idea of manliness.
Yeah, it is possible. It's hard to tell because, do you remember when he was asked to write the novel? Whenever he was asked to write and come up with an original sentence, it would always be this incredibly flowery, like faux erotic novel sort of like nonsense sentence.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not sure if it's just like his nature of like that's where his influences come from, or like that's like he secretly just wants to write like smut.
He just reads a ton of Danielle Steele books.
Excuse me.
So maybe that's just where it comes from.
Dude, when you go on Google Images and you type in Dende, you get like some Dragon Ball character. I don't know
Yeah,
if you want to look
You
that
get a
up.
little Namek.
Yeah, Goku.
Yeah, the little Namekian boy.
Yeah.
Now, Kenji,
What's he
imagine
doing?
him as a 6 foot tall, ripped
Black man. 14-year-old black boy.
14-year-old.
I think they might have mixed them up with what was the guy's name, Mr. Popo? Or, I haven't seen Dragon Ball
Yeah,
forever.
Popo, yeah.
Oh, God.
Which one was Dende? I thought
Well,
Mr. Popo.
so Mr. Popo, okay, so Mr. Popo, aside from being a not subtle blackface character. Mr. Popo is not. He's not ripped. You know.
No, he's fat.
Ripped.
According to Jack Garbarino, he would be a rotund character.
According to Austin Bowers' version of Jack Garbarino.
Oh yeah.
Austin Bowers. What a man.
All right. So, I mean, I think this is a good time to call the movement a night. I'm going to turn this into a regular like chat now. If you guys want to hang around, feel free to. I'm going to be inviting my patrons in now. But if you guys have anything to do, that is also cool and understandable. But yes, thank you very much for everybody for coming in and reading about the erotic adventures of Jack Garbarino and Dende, the baboon mauled African boy. I mean, I wish I was that. I wish I was that buff at 14.
Right?
Riley,
Tall. Go tall. Don't get tall.
Yeah, tall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm a manlet, so
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
tall in general would be great.
It's all right, Joe. Remember where we formed the League of Manlets.
The League of Manlets. The Fortress of Solitude.
You know, maybe you can't look like Dende, but maybe you can look like the Dragon Ball Dende.
With some green
Thanks.
face paint.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
cosplay as Dende. Bunch of green paint, just put it all over my face. Oh hell yeah, Kate, the manlet pit of despair. Well, while you're here, Kenji, you know you founded Senritsu subs.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, how has it been going so far, and why do you think like what you're covering people just haven't covered yet?
What do you mean, like the show? Or
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's going pretty well. We only missed 1 week. Other than that, we've been on schedule. For the people who don't know, I quit AniTube and I'm doing a subgroup now called Senrutsu Subs, and we're subbing primarily like older shows. We try to go for like more historically important shows. Right now, we're doing Gamba no Boken by Osamu Dezaki, directed by Dezaki, from '75. And it's this show about these gerbils going on a big adventure. And it's very important. It inspired a lot of like famous animators and stuff, and it has a really like big famous staff and stuff. And we're translating it. We're doing all the typesetting and everything. And yeah, it's going pretty well all around. We're 5 episodes in. We got like a growing community on our Discord and stuff. And I think the reason that a lot of these shows haven't been getting subbed yet is because like I don't know. It's really surprising that a show as big and important as Gamba isn't subbed yet, like a lot of these other shows. Because you know, people like really like shows that a lot of these staff members have worked on. I mean, you have like Kobayashi doing the backgrounds on this show. He's like super famous and popular. You have like Dezaki, of course. You have a bunch of like really big famous voice actors and stuff. It's like a really top tier cast and everything, and the show itself is super fun too, and pretty and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like fan subbing is sort of like has been shrinking in the past couple of years, mostly because of like sort of more like official translations and stuff and like DR. And in some ways that's kind of good because like you get shows faster, but you don't really have like a big movement of people trying to get all the older forgotten shows out, you know, especially like Gamba, which is unfortunate. But yeah, we're here to pick up the slack a little bit, and our team is really small right now, but it's growing. And if people want to help or whatever, And if you know Japanese and if you want to help translate or do like transcription stuff, which you also need to know Japanese to do, you can like DM me or whatever.
Also, shout out to Federico.
That's a shout out. Shout out to Federico. He's been doing all the translation work so far, and he's been
love
doing
that
a
man.
really good job. Yeah, he's really friendly too. We also have like a couple of people doing like transcription, like Castel, who's like big with the VN community. We have Kinesis doing the encodes. We have some guy named Y also helping with transcription. It's a good team. And Zoe over here is helping with QC.
Let us get.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Shout outs.
Also, what's up, Raj? What's up, my guy?
Hey, Roger.
Yo, the original sad boy.
What is happening?
Lonely Production said, "Yo, why was I banned from the Sunritsu subs?" Discord
That's a
server.
different group. You have to understand.
Oh, I don't know any Sunritsu subs. I've never heard of that. So I don't know.
What a very
It's a really weird
way to
question.
get around that.
Maybe like Sunritsu subs is like a completely different subbing group, and then they kept hearing about like, what is this Ganba?
Some poor subbing group out there is just
There was, like,
so
speaking
confused.
There was like two people who joined our server the other night out of nowhere, and they were like, "Hey, subbing tips," and they were like listing us like shit that we need to work on, and
Oh
like
my God.
no one cares about that. No one cares about. They're like, "Yeah, your encodes could use a little bit of this," and oh, you could typeset faster if you like use the script. And I'm like, I mean, like I don't know. The way they were like doing it was a little rude.
On the
Yeah, I
server.
mean,
It was really weird.
it's really unfortunate people like give
And then
like
they started, yeah, and they started fighting amongst each other about like what setting is better for. It was the weirdest fucking thing. We were all here like really chill, like yeah, the new episode's cool. They're like, hey, no, you can't do that. That's not how you encode. It was really uncanny.
Yeah. Thank you, Diaz.
Mm-hmm. So what was that, Zoe? Sorry.
Thank you, Diaz.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like that. Like some of the subgroup people, they like really are like into fighting over some of these like settings and how much grain a show should have, and no one who watches the shows like cares about this. Even like, and these are the people who watch these shows. Like they usually download them. So like these are people who don't like stream shows. They want like a little higher quality. But even like most of them don't notice. It's like really really weird. Like this very like petty infighting. It's funny. Though.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of odd. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like half expecting one of them to be like, you know, you gotta watch out for this because you know when it gets uploaded, they kiss anime and just get blocked immediately.
We upload all our stuff to Dailymotion because Kiss Anime is bad. So, yeah. If you want to stream. Oh yeah, dude. Didn't like what's his face become like the Dailymotion star, the AniTube star of Dailymotion? What's his? I think that Snob or something. Yeah.
Oh, you think no? It's VidMe.
King of
King of
well,
Vidme.
Vidme is dead now.
Vidme died.
so-
Yeah,
So he's Vidme.
that's
Yes, he got
sad.
nuked.
What happened to him?
Yeah, VidMe is gone.
Dude, what happened to him? Where is he going now?
I don't know. He had like a secondary.
YouTube channel, yeah. He came back to YouTube.
He had like a secondary like archival channel on YouTube, but I don't know if he's like transitioned back.
Rest
Oh,
in
no.
power.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
no.
This true hero.
Like I feel like on some level, you know, there's a very sort of like mono no aware element to this whole thing, you know, the impermanence of Snop.
And, you know, it's like the endless every day.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, wari naki nichijou.
Does anyone happen to have a link to Snob kept that giant spreadsheet of AniTubers?
I wish. I mean, I don't know where it is.
That was such a
Yeah.
gross image.
That was such a strange spreadsheet.
Yeah, it was really funny because the only comment on my channel was it just said good analyst and then it said channel dead or something and it,
Retired.
yeah, retired. That was it. Yeah,
Well, like, so many of them. So many of them. The only
Does he
description he
follow
put
all
on a
of these?
button.
Like,
Yeah, he follows all of them.
And then
Yeah.
like black.
Yeah,
Female.
so many.
Yeah,
of the
oh,
channels,
yeah.
the only description was like black, and it's just like, why is this so important?
Yeah, it was like color coded on like these weird predetermined factors. Black female. Sometimes it'd be black female.
Yeah,
It was something else.
Oh, for Anime America, how did these plebs get so high?
Able body.
it's like it. So like, here's the weird thing, right? He notes when they're female. He notes when they're Latino, and he notes when they're black. But he never notes when they're Asian or Caucasian. So he has this sort of Snob is like this strangely Orientalist person in that he believes that Asians and Caucasians are normative in and if you're not Asian or Caucasian, you have to be marked down.
Yeah,
The thing is, they're only normative if they speak English.
Yes.
yeah.
He also knows that.
Amazing.
He's very interesting, to say the least.
He's
Able
special.
bodied.
He's done some really out there stuff, I guess.
The list was comprehensive. Like you get down to most of it, like at the very bottom, to be a huge list of like channels with like one sub or no subs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like there was one which was actually quite incredible. It was I think he might have been speaking Indonesian, like Tagalog, like yeah. It might have been like like Indonesian or something, but it was a Kimi no Nawa review, and it was hilarious because it was this fat Asian guy in front of a really poor green screen, and it had like 3 different levels of like edited by Cyberlink Power Editor watermarks on top of each other. It's like, why does a snob put this guy on his list?
Was it a good review?
I don't know. It wasn't in English.
We have to get an Indonesian.
Hang on, I think. Yeah, I'll try and find the channel.
We need to
Is
find
that
like the Japanese for Neverworld.
Oh, I know. The Indonesian Anitube community. Hell yeah.
Probably
Get me in there.
So like based on my experiences browsing through like Nico video, like from what I could figure out, like Japanese like video content creators are they're infinitely more shit posty than ours. Like, you know, a lot of people are like sitting down and be like, yeah, let's talk about animation. And yeah, let's talk about animation, like who's done what and so on and so forth. Like, what does it all mean? But like, there's a lot of, I'm seeing a lot of like automated voice videos.
I like that.
I'm seeing a lot of like very strangely edited videos that like, it looks exactly like something that Scrolls would edit. It's just a mishmash of colors and shapes and just like strange things. Like I came across one video where I was looking at like Japanese content, like Japanese videos and like what they thought about like Tsutomu Miyazaki, and a ton of the videos were just like videos that it looked as if Scrolls edited them. And like there was one video where some guy like went through the effort of animating like a terribly low res picture of Tsutomu, where he's going around like shooting lasers and burning up other Japanese pillars. And then it just ends with like a 3-minute like voice, like robotic voiceover, and I'm just like, this is so weird.
Dude, I love Sakuga. What the hell?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Oh, so no Japanese like weekly episode reviewers? No like Japanese chibi reviews?
Oh, Uzo! Oh. Oh man.
Man, if there was someone in Japan that like grinded as much as Chibi, just like 5 videos a day, one for like every episode that came out.
Well, I mean, like, I think most of the people are probably gonna be on boards, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Let's see here. Oh, we got a question here. Who is your favorite anime director? Let's go through the list here in alphabetical order. Alpha/Zoe.
huh? What's the question?
Your
What's your
favorite
favorite
anime
director,
director?
Zari?
Mrs. Naoko Yamada. I love her with all my heart. Bless her soul.
That was so pure. Holy shit.
Yamada Tensei.
I was expecting some. I don't know why, but I was expecting a somewhat shitposty answer.
Wow.
Okay. Jaden.
Either Yuasa or Nakamura.
Mm.
Wait, what was that, Jaden?
Either Misaki Yuasa or Yutaru Nakamura.
Heck yeah.
Rest in peace.
Kenji.
Junichi Sato.
Okay. Roger.
I'm partial to Shinichiro Watanabe. The Nabashine's pretty cool too.
Ninja.
That's a pretty hard question. It'll probably change in a few months, but probably Yoshiyuki Tomiya.
Oh, Tomino, the man.
Zen.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Shit.
Okay. Zen. All right. Let's see. You're on a desert island, right?
Yeah.
And then you find this lamp,
Yeah.
and you rub the lamp vigorously.
Yes.
And then out comes this genie. And this genie's just like, "Hey, I'll get you off the island. But you gotta answer a question here. Who's your favorite anime director?"
Oh man, am I gonna die out here? Shit, I
Huh?
might die out
You're
here.
gonna die on this desert island if
I
you
might
don't.
die out here. Holy shit.
It was a while.
See. You know, I'm gonna go with the quick mind answer. It's probably not right, but I'm gonna go with it anyways. I'm gonna go with Amaishi.
Sorry, I didn't catch
That's
that.
cool. He said
Amaishi.
in my issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Nice.
Joe, who's your favorite?
Seo Mitsuo.
Is that the here and then, now and there guy?
No, that's Akitaro Daiichi.
Oh, fuck, my bad.
Seiyu Mitsuo did Momotoro's Divine Sea Warriors. He did propaganda during the Second World War.
Shout out.
I'm like, hell yeah, look at him gun down all these mice.
Dude, if you want to see mice and violence, check out Gamba no Boken. Oh yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Shout out.
But Joe, I gotta say, I don't think after Tezuka, there weren't any other good directors, so you picked wisely.
Oh no. Alex Myers. Shout outs to Alex Myers. Your channel is garbage.
Oh shit.
Ooh, shout out.
I will very confidently say that. I think you are a snake. You create
AniTube drama.
you. He's not even an AniTuber.
He's the worst YouTuber.
Not one at all.
I think his content is intellectually dishonest. He lives and works in Japan, which is surprising because he has not yet proven to me at all that he has any competence living and working in Japan. Yeah, shout outs to Alex Myers.
My boy.
Damn.
Yeah,
Let's
that's the
destroy him,
Alex
dude.
Empire.
It was more like a call out than a shout out. Oh damn.
Yeah, that's the Alex
You're
Empire.
destroying the shit out
With
of
Alex
Robot. Alice on Fire.
This question.
All right, so let's see here. What was the other questions? Okay, so next question we got. Next question is, will this be uploaded somewhere? Kind of. I put things on unlisted, so if you keep the link, you know, you can just see it later. Question Jekko is top 10 murders. Well, let's just do top murder.
Haven't we done like a top 10 murder 3x3 thing before? In the live stream?
I remember.
Is this like actual real life murder?
I remember I asked you, Kenji, to do a top, like, do a 3x3 war crimes or something.
Oh, war crime.
You generated this, like, this completely miserable mosaic of death.
Oh yeah, dude. If someone asked me to do a 3x3, I'll do it. I mean, I got nothing better to do.
JFK.
Oh.
Yeah, I dab on JFK.
Favorite murder would be my favorite murder would be Murder of John Price by Catherine Knight.
That is a very weird and disturbing murder, yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Australian woman to be sentenced to life in jail.
Okay, let's see here. Does anybody remember the guy who copied the intro sequence?
This was Hyper.
Wait, wasn't that Hyper?
Yeah.
So like that was okay. So that was, I guess that was unintentionally Hyper.
Yeah, no, it wasn't intentional at all. I think.
Because like, so Hyper's sequence is like, you know, it's Hyper and then it draws a rectangle, which is very similar to what mine used to be. But he didn't make that intro. Aspie Anime Addicts made the intro on Hyper's request. So I think it's just like a unfortunate collision of coincidences.
God damn it.
Let's see here. Any anime-related New Year resolutions?
Oh, what the fuck?
No.
No, Jesus
I
Christ.
don't think so. I mean,
Maybe I won't
Maybe
watch
make
California
videos, but-
Crisis every week and pretend it's a seasonal anime.
Oh my god.
Every year, California Crisis at the top of the list again.
It seems like
The
a,
1980s.
it's like the schedule of a serial killer.
It's a crisis every week.
I mean, this is somewhat anime related, but my goal, or at least my resolution, is to break level 20 on Wanikani. That's really been fucking me over.
that's a good goal.
Didn't you want to shatter all ties with every AniTuber? Joe?
What?
I swear you wanted to shatter ties with every single AniTuber.
Oh yeah. That might also be another thing that.
That's a really good idea. That's what I'm trying to do. Good for you, Joe. You're cool.
Nice.
You're cool.
My anime New Year's resolution is to get level 100 in Maple Story.
Bet. Yeah, good luck with that, bro. I believe in you.
See, that's a real goal. That is a real goal. Yeah, my second channel, I'm going to be uploading a series of videos where it's just like why I stopped watching like this AniTuber.
I like this.
That sounds really nice.
Well, I mean, like I'm gonna be as fair and as honest as I am, right? You know, as I can be. And
Yeah.
so like the thing here is that I think a lot of the trouble here is that a lot of hello.
Hey,
I think the thing here is that a lot of hello. I think the thing here is that a lot of people when I tweet fucking say
Oh my god.
oh my god.
There we go.
Okay, I think the thing here is that a lot of people. Oh my god.
Headphones on my guy.
Remix.
So the thing here is that I think what happened. Oh my god. I'm gonna mute you, Matt.
Can we not?
oh god.
I'm just gonna mute him there.
Oh my God.
So
Dude,
the thing
remember
here,
when we were all muting Bio Gundam? I'm sorry, by the
oh
way.
yeah, we're all muting Bio Gundam, and
I
he
don't
just
know-
kept
Don't
going.
mute me.
He just
Bio
kept going.
Gundam.
You can't mute me. We just got
Um,
in here.
So the thing here is that I think I tweeted out a while ago saying like I'm going to be making a series of videos on my second channel where I'm going to just explain why I stopped watching like X and YouTubers, and like I think it's kind of a problem now because a lot of people are thinking like, oh yeah, no, he's gonna expose people. It's like, no, I'm not exposing people. I'm just going to explain why I stopped watching their stuff because I'm not going to be like, this is the problem thing because that implies that I have to watch all their stuff. And I'm not going to do that.
Why I dropped.
I'm just going to be why I dropped. Yeah.
I'm gonna drop a Mr. Nice guy dossier revealing why I was not a part of the project. And it was indeed, in fact, because Hack and Select pushed me out of my opportunity to shine and took my time slot and my short. He even copied my my Seinfeld skit.
That'll teach you. But
You
yes,
should do one on me where it's just like he stopped making videos.
Where did he go? I don't know where he went.
well, it's just like so like there are some people who like I literally have no answer to other than I just kind of stopped, and like so Kenji, yours is just simply his channel is no more. That's why I stopped watching.
Dude, you can still keep up with my content. Now it's just like really good shows about like mice
Shows.
fighting weasels.
Now I can't evaluate his content based upon what he's saying. I have to evaluate it based on the show. So it's just like he's
Well, you
got
have to,
this Miyazaki
you have to
shield.
evaluate the timing.
I only evaluate post Miyazaki works, and I'm not talking the animator. So you're all fucked.
You should do what that raccoon guy's doing and do like episode reviews
Charlie?
on Yama no Boken.
Wait, Charlie?
What?
You mean Charlie?
Is that his name?
Yeah.
The guy who's doing the episode reviews? Yeah, that guy.
Oh,
Charlie.
okay.
I think his name
I
is like
think it's
Caribou
Charlie.
or something.
I don't
Right?
care about you.
Construction worker guy
Oh, okay.
who likes emo music.
He's a nice guy.
Let's see here. I stopped watching Roger because there was like a gap where he didn't upload, and then I just kind of forgot to watch him. This happens a lot. I think the same thing happened with Zend.
Probably, yeah.
Like it's just like I'm that kind of viewer where like the moment there's a gap in your upload, it's just like it's done, it's over.
Nah, Joe, you're gonna like this next one, trust me.
Oh,
It's
okay,
good.
cool.
Joe, do you still follow my channel where I just post videos of my cat? I think you'd like that because you like cat videos.
I do, yes.
Good.
So I do follow that.
Good. I'm gonna put up content on that channel.
Nice.
So.
I never miss a moment for more cat videos.
Oh yeah, dude. Cat videos are like the best videos. They're better than shitty fucking animated analysis.
That's
Quote-unquote analysis.
hell yeah. Okay, let's see here. Shit. What are we talking about? Okay. Oh my god, there's so many questions that came out.
I just saw what about Dalto just pop up. Like out of all those comments that you were scrolling through.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, you never so much in down today.
I love Dalto, dude.
Get him in here.
Favorite disability? What? Okay. What?
Paraplegia.
Oh, okay. They're talking about Katawa Shoujo. Okay.
Katawa Shoujo Baby First VM. Read Subahibi and Cross Channel. Shout out to Romeo Tanaka and Skaji. Yo, Skaji follows me on Twitter. That's awesome.
You're the only English-speaking person he follows.
Yeah. Humble brag. There's a really funny story to that. So I made a really fun, like, you remember that time where Ted Cruz retweeted porn, right? Or he liked porn or something. I went on MS Paint and I edited that. So it was a picture of Yuki from Subahibi, and I tweeted it like, I didn't know he was a Subahibi fan the whole time. And then Skaji retweeted it, and he followed me. And then like type something in Japanese. I didn't know what it was. It was really nice. I liked it.
He just typed
Shout
out
out to Scotty. I love Scotty.
jibber jabber Nihongo.
Yo, Ted Cruz like getting me places.
Let's see here. What anime that looked promising has disappointed you the most?
Ashita no Naja. I didn't like that one at all.
I
It
don't
had
know.
some good episodes, but like, I don't like it as a whole.
Blend ass. I didn't
No,
watch
dude.
it, though.
I guess mine
I
would be.
didn't
I,
watch
guess,
it, though.
I like the meme.
I hate the
Hmm.
memes.
Yeah, the
It's
memes
so
are really
bad.
good.
I hate the memes because I like the show, and I feel really bad because I made that show because of the meme.
But like, it's like smile, service, sadistic. It's epic. I love that. That's like so good.
I don't like
Epic.
that.
But like, it's so good.
Freaking ride back, dude. Like, I can't tell you like how much ride back annoyed me. It can't be measured in the metric system.
What about you, Jaden, S Ninja, and Zent?
I'm struggling to think of anything because most of the time I have zero expectations when I watch something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You-
don't talk about complex news. That was disappointing.
So it'll either be I get pleasantly surprised or I go, yeah, that was as average as I expected it to be. And also,
mine.
I'm a bit more selective with what I watch. I
feel you.
typically only want to watch things that I think I'm going to enjoy, and I
Yeah, I feel you there.
tend to know my own tastes a bit better. Than
So, I don't think this really counts as a disappointment because I didn't really expect a lot from this. Because I kind of read about it before I watched it, but Victory Gundam.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, I expected to be disappointed with it, but I was disappointed with the 2017 Kino.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
expected that.
Dude, shout out to the goats jumping into the fire or the sheep, whatever the fuck they were.
Yeah,
I thought you
That was
did
awesome.
my dude were just doing flips and shit. It was great, dude.
Oh my
Dude.
god!
As someone who really likes the original Kino, that shit is like
It surpassed my
offensive.
expectations.
In a really funny way, though.
It surpassed my expectations.
All right, I think mine, I guess, is probably gonna be Battery. I don't know why I expected Battery to be at least decent, but it got really, really shitty, really, really quick, and I was kind of sad.
Oh, but dude, it's about growing up gay in rural Japan, my dude.
I don't care what it was about.
Shout out
It's
to
not-
Assault
I
and
was fine
Battery.
with being a drama. I was fine with that, but it just was so shitty.
Well, you know,
Joe,
he wants to crush his little brother's dreams. Is that so wrong?
I don't know. It was like his friend. Don't really, and like the hazing scene. I think the hazing scene. I was like, wow, this is really shit. This is really shit.
I think the show that really sort of let me down is Seikan no Quasar.
What?
I had such high expectations.
So kind of Quasar's epic.
You know, it's just
Mommy was the big titty milky.
What the fuck?
I was expecting a breastfeeding battle manga, but it just turned into a rom-com, and I was just like, this is not what I wanted.
It's good though.
Okay,
It's drama.
we'll have to agree to disagree.
On there.
Oh, Jekko said, I took care of your shout out. Okay, what happened?
Oh, no.
Oh no, the page doesn't exist. All right, let's see here. When will Gynax go bankrupt?
Now.
Yeah, pretty soon, I think.
I feel like they already have.
No. They're doing the Leiji Masamoto movies, so they're still doing stuff.
Is that gonna happen? I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Well, I think it's gonna happen. So far, they've been announced for it. I mean, they could very well pan out and they can't do it, but so far we haven't heard the like list.
All right.
Anime poster.
Okay, so first of all, I need to clear it up right now because this is a public stream right now. Michael's DEI said, Joe, stop fucking avoiding me, when I very clearly added him on Discord last night saying, fight me in persona, and he never responded. So who's running from who? Yeah, they're like, the more you scroll down Alex Meyer's channel, the more whack it gets, yes. If you want to see me just absolutely hate on a human being for doing absolutely nothing that's affected me in any way, Alex Meyer.
This is such a naked fellatio of Tezuka.
Yes. I left like a page and a half comment on one of his videos that started off with, this is such a naked fellatio of Tezuka.
Oh,
Naked Felicio of Tezuka.
Okay, let's see here.
What do we need to donate?
There doesn't seem to be any further questions or anything. So ultimately, hell yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Jay, you like memes?
Hmm?
Do you like memes?
No.
Oh,
Good.
you don't like memes?
No, that's a strong no, dude. Come on.
I got like 3x3 though. I could do like a 3x3 for like, I don't know.
Never done a 3x3
Also
before.
cute.
You've never done it, but
Stylish.
you should, dude. It's something you should do at least once in your life. A 3x3.
Which community? Oh God.
One out of, or what I
Okay, I'm gonna rephrase this guy's question because he used the word more when they should have used less. But which community do you respect less? R anime or A Annie Twitter?
What do you mean by Annie Twitter?
In like,
Isn't the 4chan board?
as in like the 4chan board, yeah.
I don't know what
So I
Annie
guess 4chan
Twitter
is
looks
4D,
like.
so-
I don't think I've
Me neither.
come across them.
I don't know. I tend to have a big negative reaction to 4chan in general, so I'll just go with 4chan. Just by default.
Because like, so our anime has a sort of, the problems with our anime are just like, they're just like natural problems that arise with the community that large.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Like critical mass.
yeah, well, it's just like, as your audience expands, so I don't want to say like the lowest common denominator because it feels very like
That's what it
looking
is.
down on them, but there's really not a better term. But like, the lowest, the ground floor expands.
Wait, is there an option to pick the My Anime List forums?
Yeah, people. That's what people.
Oh,
say.
the My Anime List forums are just, they're hot nonsense.
Hilarious.
The My Anime List forums are kind of the comedy, so I like the Mal forums.
Yeah, Mal's hilarious.
The Mao forums are,
I would say I respect
I
the
don't like
Reddit list
Women?
because it's pretty much the most boring out of all of them.
well, Reddit is like very strange because Reddit is like one of those things where you can, it gets gamed very often, right? Because like, there's one person who says something and then somebody else says something. And usually when that person responds, it's like a longer post and then that person gets a lot more upvotes. So there's like a ritualism. But with Mal, it's just like, it's just pandemonium. It's like, what was it? It was like it's like 410 AD all the time. It's like the fall of Rome all the time.
It's a carnival.
Yeah, the Visigoths are at the gates every day. That's what it's like intellectually. And there's occasionally people who like bring up really interesting things, but you can tell how tired they are. Shoutouts to people like Fomatavis and Udina on Mal, because I've seen them a few times, and like they're often like, well, you gotta look at it this way, or like here's something to consider. And then people are just like, I just like what I like. Fuck off. And it's
The show is bad because it didn't appeal to my sensibilities.
If anybody wants to see like somebody breaking down or like somebody getting increasingly tired with Mal, you should look through the forum posts for Udina, because like you can
How do you spell that?
see time. Yudina. You can see time affect him, because like it starts off interesting and then it just gets worse over time. It's just like these people don't know what they're talking about. It's great. It's hilarious. Oh, shoutouts to Udina. Never been on any DB.
The worst one, actually, the worst part about our anime is the Rem fan art. There's just too much.
Dude, shout out to Rem fan art.
Oh,
Did I tell you what happened, Kenji?
I don't think so, but I like Rem fan art.
I uploaded the ReZero video. The ReZero video got like to like spot like 15 or 12 on our anime, and then got knocked out by Ren fan art.
Nice.
It's just like, damn, I just can't beat Ren fan art.
I don't think anyone can beat Rem fan art, to be honest.
Yeah,
It's
that's
good.
gonna be pretty hard. It's like punching a brick wall. Yes, it's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
I'm very blessed.
Send it on.
Yeah, protoculture, Brody, you got great advice, my dude.
Yep.
I am going to rate Seikon no Quasar 9.5 out of 10. A disappointing score for such a masterful show otherwise. So when people go onto my Mal, that's all they're gonna see. One.
Well, you gave Onagai Twins a 10.
Oh yes, I did give Onagai Twins a 10, so I could write that review.
Yeah.
What anime
Oh,
would
yeah.
you include
That reminded me for some reason. VNDB, like the visual novel database. When
Yeah.
you give something a 10 out of 10 on that site, it gives you like a warning message. Are you sure you want to give that a 10? That's a very high score, reserved for the best of the best. And you have to click OK. Really condescending, but I don't know.
See, I like that, right? Because like otherwise you have like really inflated like numbers, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
So,
It's
like-
still like
It is condescending, because it is saying like, hey, don't sully the numbers with your normie tastes.
our numbers are very important.
But,
Yeah.
10 out of 10 is very high ranking.
This is reserved for the best of the best.
That's like university marking guidelines. It's just like, are you sure you want to give this mark? That's very high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, so Kate Shido asks, Asuka or Rei?
Oh my god.
Who cares? That's my answer.
Oh shit,
they're
Kenji,
14.
don't
Yeah,
put yourself on the edge.
Yeah,
my
they're
dude.
14.
That's the real answer.
I'm 10 years
but
older than them.
But you know, the real answer is Misato, and that's all. I
Yeah,
got
the
to
real
say.
answer is Misato. But,
Fucking none of you have answered the question.
This is the
Yeah,
most
I guess
and
I
I've
guess
had
I'll
this
choose.
conversation.
Asuka's the
I guess
best.
I'll
This
choose
happened like a
Ray.
thousand
yeah, I
times.
prefer Asuka over Ray, but not by that much.
Is it Ray or Asuka? Actually, Misato is the best. Like every time.
The thing is, I really
Yeah, every
don't
time
like
I put
Asuka at
true.
all.
And yeah,
It's like the
Shinji's
best
sister
part
is
of
the best.
Ava is watching Shinji choke her to death.
That's arguably true, but
See the trouble I
Well,
have.
here's the thing. It's interesting because for some reason, and I don't know why, I kind of became pseudo obsessed with Ray before even really knowing about Ava that much. It's like the real reason I gravitated to it was towards Ray. Really weird.
That is pretty weird.
So like, the trouble here is that if it's Asuka, I feel like I'm babysitting. If it's Ray, I feel like I'm in The Shining. So it's a toss-up. Would I be babysitting or would I be in The Shining? And I've seen what happens to Jack Nicholson in that film. It's not pretty.
The real answer is Pen Pen.
Yeah, man, Toji's sister.
I-
Have you seen how she grows up in the rebuild films? It's like, damn.
Yeah, but we don't talk about rebuild.
Hey, I'll talk about it for us.
Well, for bringing up rebuild, you know what? Never.
Don't say it.
If you say,
Don't say it.
Mari, you're the worst.
Yeah, don't say it.
yeah, no,
I was
Mari
gonna
is
say,
indeed the best. I mean, can you even argue with such, rock solid logic?
Stop baiting, or I will.
Who's baiting
What?
here? This is the reality of the situation we're living in. I mean,
Mari is
come on,
long.
post Evangelion universe. What are we gonna say? Huh?
Not like Gundam UC.
That would be interesting.
Posted on
God
Yellow.
damn it, you guys. Everybody here is saying like, oh, the obvious third choice, but it's a dichotomous question.
Yeah.
You can't say me.
It's a false dichotomous question.
This is like saying, would you have a Subaru Baja or a Buick LeSabre?
Oh yeah, dude,
Somebody's
Ru
just like,
Zero.
I would rather have a Toyota Camry.
Here's the thing, I don't have to choose.
It's
Hey, Rita.
ReZero, Subaru Baja. I think ReZero would have been a lot better if the Subaru Baja was in there.
Yeah. Ru Zero was a cool show. I was on that show.
Well, I mean, he can't start from zero if he already has like a car,
Well, he has his
I mean-
phone though. Every time he
Yes.
resets. Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a smartphone.
Oh yeah. I was about to make that same joke. But,
He does have his phone, and I have tweeted at the author of Isekai Smartphone 3 times, and he's gotten back to me 0 times.
well,
I'm making a video on Isekai Smartphone, and I've been trying to get in contact with the creator.
no.
And
You should get in touch with Dalto. He managed to befriend the creator of Hajimeta no Gyao.
wait, what?
Yeah, they're like yeah. Well, not like super befriend, but he got tweetbacks and stuff.
Oh,
And he got
damn.
he got the voice actresses to like and retweet his shit for another show, I think. What was it? Zoe, you know what it was, right?
Oh, yeah, Gaku.
Was it Gekyu?
Yeah, it was Gaku.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, so he got voice saves to retweet his shit.
All right,
He
let's
also
see
knows
here.
its secrets.
So Sean Hanley asked, when was the last time you reminded everyone about the purpose of this? That was a while ago. It's about questions now. We finished reading snippets of the movement
Yes.
and all that working out.
Need to rest. The most important part
Dude, I'm sweating right
of
now.
exercising is proper rest.
All right, let's see here. Isaac asks, "What anime came closest to obliterating the walls around your desire?"
What?
Is this a reference to Freud? Old Pants says, "Suck me off." Ah.
Dude, I love anime fans.
Oh, okay. This is interesting. Not the suck me off comment.
You sure, man?
Kobold said, "Fuck, marry, kill. Cyberpunk, space opera, the post-apocalypse." And I guess for this question, we're going to have to anthropomorphize them.
Should I kill cyberpunk or space opera?
Fuck
All
cyber.
right. So I would murder the post-apocalypse because most of the stuff I kind of dislike it's like goes with that angle. I just find it to be annoying. I'm all for murdering the post-apocalypse. I can't even say the word.
Yeah, I can't murder the post-apocalypse because, like, otherwise it's hopeless. There's nothing after the apocalypse. It's just the apocalypse, you know?
Damn.
It's kind of
I
depressing.
would
Really
fuck Cyberpunk.
Space opera?
Fuck
I'd kill
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk because I hate Blade
Marry
Runner.
the
I want to see
post-apocalypse.
Cyberpunk fans pissed.
I think
Oh,
that would be the
space
best to marry.
opera.
You can't have a
Moving.
post-apocalypse without a nice sauce.
I'd marry the post-apocalypse, dude.
Well, post-apocalypse is, I think, just the white, like, you know, all it means is that it's after an apocalypse. It doesn't really indicate anything else other than that. You can have much greater freedom in what the actual story is about. I think cyberpunk and space opera are a lot more limiting.
This is a very Brian Bellamy take.
Oh, Econ's here.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, dude?
Yo.
How you doing?
Yo.
Thanks for the invite, Joe.
No problem.
So who all is here?
Okay. We got.
Looks like
Let's go to the left
Patrons
right.
and Jaden.
Huh?
Okay, let's see here. Next question. What do you want to see
Have a
more in
shape.
anime?
Animation.
Animation's overrated.
Oh.
Less sheep massacres.
Yeah, less sheep
Let's
massacre.
sheep massacres because fuck those people. They should
What
get all
massacres?
Fucking hang.
Sheep massacres? Ooh, dude.
Oh yeah,
I
from the
didn't know
latest
the
show
finale.
episode. That's right.
Ending of you know.
Kino
That
Yeah.
shit was so retarded.
was a sheep massacre.
We need
Not just
we need
kills the
more
whole
anime adaptations of we need more like anime adaptations based off of manga that are ruined by Polygon Pictures.
Oh, how dare you!
What was their latest show again? I can't remember.
And Sunset
They're
Game is
doing the
that anyway.
Gogeta, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. Honestly, I thought you know, the totally hot take. I thought Hoseki no Kuni was ruined more than anything else.
Hot take.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
it's
a very
different studio, though.
I don't
You're
think it's a
familiar
bad
with
show.
Domingo?
Huh?
Like
My
from
Yeah,
the
finger
manga?
tips are burning from how hot that take is, man.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't dislike the show. I think it's a great show. It's just so completely different from what the manga was. It's like they were decided to just throw everything out the window and take it in a completely different direction. Because like you read the manga, it's like this weird like black and white subtle musing on Buddhism and you know all that crap. And then the anime, it's just slice of life with cute rocks. You know, it's a pretty rapid departure.
Black and
Damn,
white.
that's slice of
That's
life
true. It does
excellence.
tend to be black and white.
That's such a good reading. Yo, Roger, what's that thing you always say all the time? About
Okay,
adaptations?
tried, ever failed, no matter, try again, fail again.
No, the other thing, your YouTube video title. What do you always say?
Oh wait, what?
What's that? What's your catchphrase with that YouTube video about adaptations?
Oh, adaptations aren't the source material?
Yeah, slay. Good job. There you go.
What is going on?
Are we
Because I
delving?
actually did steal your catchphrase one time, and I did say, let's just jump in.
Are we delving into some like Iron Radium objectivism now, where we just say, you know, an A is an A, and adaptation is not the source material?
Jesus.
Well, it is. I mean, it is.
What?
John Galt.
Although I do think Hoseki no Kuni has been elevated because the staff have always been very proactive in their communication with the process of adapting the show, whereas something like Monster Strike 3 is being completely ignored.
I mean, yeah, sure. I don't think it's a bad show. I'm just saying it's just something completely different from what I expected. And if you're adapting something, I understand adaptations, you know, they're supposed to be different. But if you're adapting something and you're not preserving any of the spirit of the original, and you're not doing anything with the premise of the original, aside from, you know, using it as a cheap excuse to do something different, then what's the point of the adaptation, right?
Here's a hot take I have.
Oh, go ahead.
A hot take I have is that I don't think anything is like I don't think anything needs to be faithful to anything as long as what's created is good.
I mean, sure.
And here's what I mean by that. Like if you took Penguin Drum and it was called Penguin Drum, but it was really Full Metal Alchemist, I wouldn't care because I like both. You see what I mean?
I think there's two misconceptions here. And I think the first one is, first of all, is this getting like too cerebral for this stream? I don't know what's it called.
No, I'm just spitballing.
I only had like 2 beers tonight. I'm not.
Some
I don't
hot
think
take
I'm
at
drunk
11:05
enough
at night. Don't sweat it.
But I think there are two misconceptions here. And the first one is that the fact that it's an adaptation has no effect on anything. And I think that's false, because when it's an adaptation, you're taking characters, certain amounts of themes and premises and settings from the original, and all those things have implied meanings that might work better in your new context, but they might not too, you know. For example, something like K-On!, I think, you know, the original didn't really use those ideas well, but then in the adaptation, you know, the anime version, it was utilized a lot better because it was made by competent writers. But there are also times where the staff so desperately tries to do something different, and their source material simply doesn't facilitate it, and yet they're restrained by it, and that's where a lot of the conflict comes from. For example, another KyoAni show, Hibike Euphonium, right? You know, the staff so desperately wants to make it a gay love story, but they can't. Like, everything about the production makes it seem like we're trying to make Yuri. And it's just like, no, canonically, these characters are completely heterosexual and they have to do whatever. So, you know, it's almost like there's a conflict of interest there. So yeah, I would say that certain times, because of the restraining factors of the original work, an adaptation doesn't exactly have free reign. And at least to the extent that they decide to bring in the original constraints, maybe they just decide to throw everything away. And that comes to problem number 2, which is that expectations are actually such a huge part of what an audience experiences. It's often said, you know, in writing, that you have to give an audience what they expect, but you have to do it in a way that it's surprising. If you don't give an audience what they expect, the audience is not going to enjoy it, you know? Or at the very least, you have to give them something they want, but they sort of know how it works, but they don't entirely expect
to give them something they didn't know they want.
Sometimes, but I mean, language doesn't suck. I'm just too tired. And I just spent $150 trying to roll for an idol I really liked in a mobile game. Now I'm worn out.
That sounds like a fun night.
Yeah, a very fun night. But the fact is that expectation is playing a big part of enjoying a work. For example, recently, I I got a lot of people in Digiro's Discord channel to make a manga club, and we were reading Sundome, if you've heard of that. And what it is it's this smut manga, and it's like a sadomasochistic, borderline pornography, but it develops into an extremely touching romance. And if the audience went into it expecting like this sort of melodrama, they wouldn't be hit as hard, because it's the fact that their expectations were subverted, that they let themselves get caught up in what was a perverted comedy, and they let their shields down, that when important plot points hit and they don't even realize they hit, boom, 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 it plays with their expectations that way. It's precise. The effect would not be the same if the audience was expecting that it was going to be just straight up exactly as it appeared. So I think the fact that things like this exist, and the entirety of postmodern thought in general, where it all talks about breaking down hierarchies and messing with expectations, it goes to show that established cultural expectations are actually a big deal when it comes to consumption, right? I mean, I don't know what Joe
I was
had to
half
say about that.
listening.
Oh, okay.
I was kind of talking nonsense in the chat.
Oh,
Don't mind me.
What's going on?
we were talking about.
Under Marx's theory,
Oh, yeah.
conflict is what makes things interesting. What do you think of that?
What? Are we still talking about the same thing?
Yes.
Under Marxist theory,
Marxist? What?
things interest conflict.
It's true. It's true.
That conflict is.
Well, I mean, conflict does.
Why are we getting into dialectics? What?
But
no, but if Jekko is listening, you should. Jekko probably has things to say about your views on adaptations.
yeah, sure, go ahead.
Jekko, hello, Jekko.
But yeah, Joe, we were talking about adaptations, and I was saying that an adaptation is never independent of the source material, or it can never be, because of the expectations the audience has going in, and that's actually a big part of the way that somebody reacts to the work, right?
I mean, only if they've experienced the original.
So, like, a work, if we're talking about the way in which an aesthetic object behaves, a work can't be separated from which it is.
Wasn't there an aesthetic philosopher who kept talking about the difference between an art piece and an artwork, and one of them was determined by the response of the audience, and the other one was just a thing into itself?
Probably Beardsley. But yeah, I mean, there's a separation of the aesthetic object and the aesthetic experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were talking about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the useful question, or at least the more useful question, is how useful is the process of drawing upon the thing, to which we develop a way in which we can then evaluate this other adaptation. Because sometimes
what? You lost me about halfway through that sentence there.
So we're talking about the way. Okay, so we're talking about the aesthetic object, right?
Yes.
We're talking about the adaptation ipso facto by its own internal logics is directly tied to the thing in which it adapts from. But the way in which we read that adaptation varies between every object out there, and it varies between every audience member that is reading it. And so, as a result, I think it's a little sort of overarching to say that, like, simply because that it draws from the original object, that it now has the value. I think it really depends upon individual cases of where, like exactly what are we talking about when we're talking about objects and who is watching it. And then that thereby ends up informing in which instance is something particularly, I don't want to say good or bad, but
Just say good or bad.
no, I refuse to say good or bad.
You refuse to say good or
I
bad?
refuse to say good or bad. But
Used to say good or bad.
ontologically applicable or not adaptation.
Are we getting to like Kantian aesthetics now? Good lord.
I wouldn't say
Yeah,
But
because you have to like consider the point of view of someone who, someone who experiences the adaptation first, and then they go back to the original,
Oh, I'm
and
not
then
denying
their
that.
frame of reference is the adaptation.
I
Is
think
their set of expectations discredited simply because it is the adaptation and not the original?
I think in that case you're simply discussing the worth of it as a work of art, right? If, for example, I made an adaptation, like what's his face was saying, Roger was saying, if I made an adaptation of Penguin Drum, and I just called it Penguin Drum, it was just Full Metal Alchemist, the anime. It was just Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah, that's a great anime. Somebody watching it would be like, hey, that's a pretty kick-ass anime. And it has value in and of itself. It's a great anime, but then how does the adaptation part matter, right? The fact that it is an adaptation, the fact that you're identifying it as an adaptation means that you want to do something to link these two works, to connect them. You're gonna watch one and read the other. You're gonna read one and watch the other, something like that. And you want to experience these things that you've gotten in some other form, and you want to see it adapted to a different medium, and that's a certain kind of pleasure in and of itself. So the value of it as an adaptation fades to some extent when it can't keep the intent, the themes, and things like aesthetics and premise of the original correct, or at least consistent, or at the very least to the extent where it feels like it misses the point. I'm not against like creative interpretations or anything.
Is that really an assumption you can make?
Well, there's a slip there. I think there's a sort of a slip in your argument there, which is, so you've established this value as an instrumental value. The adaptation, the different new ways and different new modes in which we can look at it. But then you sort of position the value as it being intrinsic, which I think is sort of a different argument now.
How so?
Well, so like, if we remove the instrumental value, how does what is now the value what is the relevant value in something that is adapted, really?
What?
Okay, so repeat
I don't think I'm a dumb person or anything. It's just that.
So repeat your. Okay, so there's a few moments in which you shift between different types of value. So just repeat your argument, and I'm just gonna note that where it shifts, because I might be misremembering what you said here.
So what I was saying is that an adaptation, like any work of art, has value in and of itself. Is that fine?
Okay, so that's an intrinsic value. Okay, yes. Yep.
But what I'm saying is that when you're looking at it and you're identifying it as an adaptation, okay, and you're looking at in the context of an adaptation, there are certain things that you expect from it as an adaptation, and as an adaptation, by definition, things that the only way we recognize it as an adaptation, and the only reason we would care about it as an adaptation, is if we were to somehow link the original work and the adaptation, right?
Sure. Okay. So this is where we're getting into instrumental adaptation.
Yeah.
Instrumental value now.
So then I was saying that even though the work might have value in and of itself, if you want to actually look at it as an adaptation, then you have to identify some things that it kind of needs as an adaptation, whether that's faithfulness to the original's plot or premise, or some sort of understanding of the themes of the original. And so I was what's it called? Addressing Roger's remark that adaptations are just works, should just be looked at works in and of themselves. Because I was saying that,
Well, I don't think they should. It's just what I do.
The expectations of the audience should be considered a big factor of it.
Okay, so you got me until the audience end.
Okay.
Because I do think that you have a better argument on the self-feeding logic of the adaptation. The idea that something can't be an adaptation until it actually is adapting something, and then
that's not a value. That's not a value judgment.
Well,
really,
we're
that's
not talking about value. We're talking about the logical process of the
okay.
So like you got me until there. So like that I think is a sound proposition. But what is the audience having to do with this?
I'm saying that when you're like I was saying, when you're watching an adaptation or you're watching original and you're or you're reading original, I guess it's usually like manga or light novels, and you're planning on going into an adaptation, there are certain things the audience wants, and what makes an adaptation good is the adaptation's ability to fulfill those wants. Or it could be the other way around. The adaptation should be set it up in such a way that the original fulfills the wants if you watch the adaptation first, right?
Okay, is the audience so are you saying that the audience is sort of an end unit in which we can look at how an adaptation functions, or like how good of an adaptation it is?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That
Okay.
the value of it being an adaptation is that there are two entities, the original and the adaptation. And the quality of the adaptation is for you to read the original, come up with a certain amount of, things you would want from an adaptation, and then watch the adaptation fulfilling that. Or you watch the adaptation, you come up with a certain set of, things you want from the original, expectations for the original, and then you go into the original, and those are fulfilled too. That's why I'm saying where the worth of the adaptation is.
How would you reconcile?
Do you see how that's sort of transferred from the object to the experience?
Wait, what?
Yeah, I think you can't really ascribe a certain set of universal wants and expectations. I guess a frame of reference more so, but you have an idea of what this thing already exists as, but you can't really say that the audience as an entity has a certain wants from what they've seen.
Yeah, I think that's something that for some reason is controversial nowadays, but it really isn't. What's it called? The audience has certain things they want. The audience, when they read a romance, they want to go into the original, and they do not want to read an shonen action manga if the adaptation is like some sort of sweet, heartwarming romance. If the audience is reading an original, they don't want to watch an adaptation, which is just something completely different. I think that even though in this postmodern age we want to break everything down, you pick up a writing textbook or whatever, and it still tells you the same things. It's that humans react to the same things over and over. People like seeing what they expect on the screen or in the book or in a story. They want to see what they know. They want to see what they expect. They want to see what's inside of them.
Okay.
They just want it done in new and different ways.
So, if I was disappointed with Kekkai's Sensen, it would be because of Macbeth?
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
So, I can't enjoy Bleach because I didn't find the adaptation of Beowulf very good.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, there's more factors that go into it than that, but...
Well, I mean, in Kekkai Sensen, there's the twins, William and Mary Macbeth, so maybe you're talking about them.
I don't know, I didn't watch that show. It lost my interest at halfway through the first episode.
Oh, I thought the first episode was legitimately one of the greatest things I had ever seen when I watched it. But different strokes for different blokes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a bad anime.
No.
It just wasn't really my sort of
No,
thing.
you don't need to throw a defense, man. We all have different tastes.
I think
By the way, I adapted that phrase. It's actually different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, I know.
But no, yeah, see what I did there? I said adapted.
Oh, shut up.
It was an adaptation.
Oh my gosh, Roger.
Anyways, where were we on the whole adaptation thing? Are we just dropping that topic now or something?
I think there's like
Drop the hot take a few minutes.
so like I think the divide ultimately ends up being that like that your position seems to be like there has to be a practicality to this discussion. Otherwise we fall into the postmodern, post-structural trap of like everything gets divisible to an endless degree.
I think there's definitely a level of nuance there.
And I think the difference is simply that I like the postmodern end of it. I like the endless divisibility.
Oh, come on, postmodern is so out of fashion now. Everybody's jumping on that meta modern train.
Oh, I love the post-structural, my dude. It's great. I love the
postmodernism is so that's like a pre David Foster Wallace world. Now we're living
let's clarify here. Whose postmodern are you using?
Me?
Yes. Or I mean, like anybody, right? I mean, like I think
I think we all know what we mean by postmodern.
Oh, are you sure?
I mean, I think we are.
I think the moment anybody throws up postmodern, you should really ask who's postmodern, because there's a lot of postmodern that's still completely relevant.
Jesus Christ. And that's kind of the problem with it, right? Because, at least the core tenets of it are, so kind of self-destructive. That somebody claims it to be postmodern, and it's like, no, let's destroy this foundation, and that's new postmodern.
That seems like the sort of debates that people had with like Leotard. The idea that the only thing about the postmodern is that the only grand narrative is there is no grand narrative, and that itself becomes a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I do think.
I think there's definitely like a sphere of influence, and you could kind of tie those ideas together, though.
Well, there's a lot of.
Yeah, it's not like all post 20th century thinking has been postmodern in some way.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the idea that postmodernism is undefinable is kind of like a pretentious thing that postmodernists kind of like to ascribe to themselves. It's like when you read Derrida and he keeps going on and on about how like deconstruction is this weird, bizarre thing and you can never like do whatever, and it's a summation of all this. And it just seems like, dude, just fucking stop, man. Come on.
Well, I kind of like Derridian deconstruction. It's pretty hilarious. See, I think this is like a funny divide between you and I.
I mean, no. I think it's hilarious too. It's because it's like you read him talking about it at different stages of his life, and as time goes on, he just tacks more and more stuff onto it. It's like, this was his one-hit wonder, and he just kept wanting to re-release it over and over. At least that's the impression I got, because and maybe genuinely he did believe this, but it's kind of like when you stretch an idea too broadly, it kind of loses all meaning, right? But the fact that things like grammatology and semantics works is that we have definite ideas that we can attach them to. If things become too vague, then words lose their meaning.
Yeah.
Wait, where's that noise coming from?
No idea. Somebody's watching TV in the background, I think. I have headphones on.
Anyway, I think you've said like two different things.
Who, me?
you've got an object, but once an object is an adaptation, then you want to attach the extrinsic experience of the aesthetic experience of the audience as a factor of the quality of whatever something is or whatever, which is not something that's uniform or quantifiable either.
I think that's debatable. I think ultimately humans, still react in similar ways, and that's definitely quantifiable, and that's definitely, able to be taken into consideration when the writer is making it work. The fact that we have genres at all, the fact that genres exist as a shorthand to help the audience find what they want, that's a pretty big sign that, these things, human nature is not so volatile. We've kind of wanted the same things from stories for the same 2,000 years or so, That's why movies still go for the same 3-act structure most of the time, successful ones at least, That's why.
What if I said that I wanted more stories that were told backwards, like Touka Getan?
Then you're a degenerate. No, I'm being completely serious. I want more stories like that too, but I recognize I'm the minority, and I want that because I've read so many regular stories. Now I just want to be excited by new and exciting and unusual things,
Yeah, no, I get that. I like that sort of non-conventional storytelling myself, but
yeah. But I'm not going to say that's like universally the best kind of storytelling, or that's universally the kind of storytelling that most humans connect with. Because, humans, we want unpredictable stuff. We don't like cliches. We don't, when we consume too much art, we pick up on all the same conventions going on over and over. And we want to be surprised, and when we lose the ability to be surprised, we just have to excite ourselves more and more. It's not much different from a guy who gets tired of day-to-day life and decides to go skydiving, Is skydiving really more productive or useful activity than, doing whatever normally, typing on a computer? No, probably not, but it's more exciting.
expensive.
It's probably more expensive.
Oh no, did Kenji
Just
leave?
like-
Because this
just
is
like abstract
exactly
art.
where I'd ask him about 3x3s here.
What?
Yeah, no, Kenji died.
What are you talking about?
3x3s.
3x3s?
Oh, 3x3.
3x3.
Oh
What
yeah,
about
did you guys see? I made an entire 3x3 that's all just pictures of 3x3 eyes.
No, actually, I mean,
First of all, excellent fucking manga. Good on you. I bet you it was good. That shit was dope.
Oh, I'm gonna upload that to Imgur for everyone
And
to see.
Indian was very stupid, but everything else was great.
Yeah,
I think that's like among my top shonen manga. Good lord.
I called it 3x3 eyes on the prize.
Like you were saying something about 3x3s? Somebody was saying something about 3x3s?
was it Rita? Was it you, Rita?
Yeah, it would have been the perfect point to ask Kenji about that with what Econ said.
Who?
You.
Ask me about what?
You like memes?
You like memes?
You like me? Oh no.
He just laughed. What?
Whoops. I was trying to close that 3x3 eyes and accidentally closed the window.
I thought you left because Jaden.
Power of 3x3 eyes.
That's a strong Brexit Camel's back. Econ, what lightsaber stance do you use?
What?
I don't know. The summation of what I got from what you just said, Econ, is that structurally.
I'm sorry if
true,
like I'm
but
being a little bit
postmodernism-
if I'm being a little bit stupid right now. I'm very tired. When you spend $150 and fucking mobile games, it kind of wears you out. And I just built a new bookshelf today, and I'm kind of tired.
Damn, son, you're a
Bookshelves
whale.
are nice.
Huh?
You're a whale.
Show us your bookshelf.
Yeah, this guy is definitely not a whale.
My bookshelf is
Oh,
on the floor.
Yeah,
I mean,
I have.
I have a lot of books. I need a place to organize them.
Bookshelf, Econ.
What?
Show us your sexy bookshelf.
Not right now.
This is the initiation.
I'm embarrassed. I think my woodwork could have been better, and my wood selection could have been better.
I'm sure the accursed chair wants it too. Please.
Oh, you built your own bookshelf?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I do like to do carpentry in my spare time.
That's cool.
Talk about Vidya.
I feel like I've just been blue-balled by Econ.
Jesus Christ! If you want it that bad, good lord. Can't promise anything. And I'll be honest, I think I should have just bought one from IKEA because this took way too long.
What color is it?
It's black. It's big and black.
Well, what kind of wood?
It's pine but painted black.
Okay.
I love big black things.
Like Dende.
Yeah, and there's things in.
Okay, now I have to figure out a way to get this onto the
Odyssey.
chat.
Oh yeah, the monolith.
I mean, you could post it in the
The
group
monolith.
chat for the
Wait,
Hangouts,
wait,
and
did you
then
say
you
Space
can just
Odyssey?
post it on this chat.
It's the Bowie song.
Yeah, but
I meant to say Space Odyssey.
Yeah, 2001
Okay, so
Space
I did
Odyssey.
again.
so I have to find this shit on YouTube. See, this is why I don't want to do it. This is so fucking such a pain. Whatever. If it makes you happy that you get to see my big black wood,
Oh, hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Anybody who's under the age of 18, leave now. It's after hours, my dude.
oh, I can't even
Okay,
attach. I can't even
alright,
attach a
I see that.
picture to this chat.
Oh, no.
Canon, oh wait.
Oh, no.
So I have to
no.
make a.
Oh,
so I
I
have to make
guess
an
I guess
extra like
Keith
too.
is under the age of 18.
Sheep left. She's just like, I'm not going to expose myself to this debauchery.
Well, we can't all be ready, you know.
Also, I missed Nathan for you.
Yeah,
Oh.
you missed The Movement by Jack Garbarino.
Oh, Rito, were you there when I think it was Try and I? We read this review by somebody on Letterboxd. He made a review about the ending of season 4, Finding Francis, and it was very dry criticism that essentially summed up to like, I don't understand why people like this.
Right.
We checked out his Letterboxd bio, and in his bio, there were essentially 3 quotes.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I can't even post a web link into the damn.
Wait,
chat.
was this the one where the guy was basically saying
Add
this
some
wasn't an actual
spaces,
movie?
Econ.
Yes. So essentially, we posted. We checked out the quotes, and the quotes were actually like those testimonials on the back of books. So, like, he didn't even read the book.
What?
He just read testimonials on the back of books, and he was just like, "This applies to me." And then
What are
he
you talking
used that.
Oh, by the way, everybody, I just found.
There we go.
We just received a link to the infamous anime snob Google Doc spreadsheet. of
Oh,
anime
snap.
space.
Oh
Anime
man, that's how you know you've made it, man.
Yeah,
What is
Please don't
so?
put
I can't post links in the chat. So
What are you talking about?
I'll post it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I'll even post the Imgur link in the.
What a 3x3.
Let's see here.
Hello.
What do we got? Zoinks! I've taken a wrong turn.
What?
This is
Retro.
Zoinks, I've taken a wrong turn. Is it a
Works for
JPEG?
me. Works for me. I don't know why it's not working for you.
Um.
Maybe you took the wrong turn, man.
Jesus Christ, this is too much effort to show off my shitty fucking bookshelf.
Let's-
What's these anime channels?
It's just the anime snobs list of AniTubers.
Snob has
Who is
Demo
that?
D is retired. Nice.
Yeah, because me is retired too.
Who's retired?
Oh yes.
Retired.
Did you retire in the last few weeks?
Snobster, my dude.
Who's retired? Demolition D?
Me apparently, and Demo.
The AniTube retirement home.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Did you get good analyst though?
I did, yes.
Wow.
I'm surprised there are this many fucking anime people. Good lord.
There are. Oh, I think there are more of them.
Oh, there must be a lot more, but also a lot
I think
of these
Snob
are
is actually
in
dripped a bit
languages
off.
that are not English.
At least Snob is what?
Oh, he removed people, like, he removed certain people.
Yeah. He trimmed some people off, yeah.
Like, he took, like, anyone who does, like, music off. He took Cronexia off.
Why?
I don't know. He's discriminatory, I guess.
He doesn't like the French Canadians.
See, I don't get it because it's like I agree with most of what he's saying about these people, but it's kind of like
Snob isn't saying much, so he's saying like
You agree that they're French,
Latino,
Canadian?
French.
Female.
Yeah, I like how there's French, Russian, and then Latino.
yeah. No, I mean, I agree with his disdain for it, but like this sort of weird autistic,
Wait,
ranking
his
is-
disdain for the French, the surf?
what?
Nah. But it's just so weird how, like, he just marks off, like, the national... Like, what?
Anyhow, what were
Probably-
you gonna say, Econ?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I agree with a lot of, his disdain for these channels, but at the same time, I think it's like, if you really don't like them that much, why are you devoting so much time to making this goddamn spreadsheet and shit? Just ignore them. Like, what the hell are they doing to you?
Well, I think it's like this competitive streak.
I guess, but like, who is there worth competing with? To be honest, I don't know what the fuck Snob does. I don't know, what's his whole deal is, but it feels like some sort of weird inadequacy complex.
Does anyone know?
He does this full time, for sure. Like
He just makes fun of anime fucking YouTubers and
like his channel is his job.
seriously,
So,
how
yeah.
much money can he make off of this shit? It's
not much.
It's not like AniTube is big to begin with, and now he's making money hating on AniTube. What?
Well, he like lives in like rural Greece, right? So it's not like he can go out and get a job.
Typical Greek.
Like being an AniTuber is literally his best job.
Pay demps. Pay demps.
Yeah, the notes are really strange and incredibly problematic in a lot of places because sometimes it just says black, Latino, female.
Also,
sometimes
why is Russian
you get a double whammy
Latino,
of black
German?
female.
Why are Russian, Latino, German? Why are those in red? But why is black and female and green?
I have no idea.
There's no color coordination.
Hey, good analyst is in blue,
Mhm.
but
And like, there's no map like stating whether like what color means what. So
Yeah.
I'm just confused.
I mean, again, I don't necessarily disagree with his perspective. I just think like this is too much fucking effort to spend on people you hate. Why
I don't
can't he
think-
just?
I don't
Huh?
think Anime Snob hates them.
I think he's just keeping tabs on them.
Either way, this is too much. This is like creepy stalker territory.
I feel like if he
I mean,
like
I don't think Anime Snob hates that many people. He just vehemently disagrees with them and thinks that their
the
opinions
vast
are
majority of them.
Plebs.
Yeah.
That what the
Jesus.
vast majority of them are below him.
Yes.
Mhm.
I mean, they probably are. I think that's perfectly fine.
Hmm.
but like, I just think this way of going about it is unhealthy and pathetic. Like, if you think they're below you, just go ahead and prove it, you know? Instead of just, you know, impotently bitching
Well,
in
I
a
think
corner
he'd
about
say
it.
he has, but
Huh?
wouldn't he say that he has?
He probably
proved
said,
it?
yeah. He's said multiple times that like I've proven this person wrong.
I guess, but then why do you feel the need to keep harping on them? Like, I don't know.
Have you?
Huh?
Oh man, you should really check out the anime stuff meta narrative.
Oh, fuck off. Jesus Christ.
No, the best one is when he did like a tribute to the old Pause and Select days by doing a live reaction.
Oh yes.
Oh, was he a fan? Did he
No.
like you?
No.
He didn't like you very much? Why didn't he like you?
Well, I mean, like I think he's neutral towards me, right? Because he was willing to come onto like my shitty podcast for like one episode and then said he hated it. And
He
then
called
that
you
was it.
nobody.
Yes, he did. He called me a nobody.
And he also called all your questions stupid.
Yes, he did.
To be
And
fair,
was
they
like,
are.
you can't prepare for the questions, even though the questions are on
Literally
a
on my Twitter.
account.
Yeah.
That you can
What
view
did you
beforehand.
even ask him?
Well, it's just a podcast.
Like, that
which
was-
is random.
Yeah, like that's how podcasts is set up, right? Like people just send me questions, and then that's the question that the guests get. So like, there's nothing set. Like, there's nothing set, and I don't really vet the questions. So like, a lot of times the questions are really stupid, or they have really terrible in-joke references that don't make a lot of sense.
I mean, to be fair, I guess you are kind of nobody. But yeah.
Well, the funny thing is when he said that,
it's like Snob saying
Joe
that,
had more subs than
yeah.
Snob
So
at
it's
the time.
like it's ironic and it's bizarre.
I think Snob is probably. I think, to be fair to Snob, he's probably more well known than me.
I mean, that's fine. I think
he has
if you
an infamy.
I think if you really wanted to be well known, you could get that very easily. You know, I think you're a talented editor. You have interesting things to say about anime. If you just spoke at a 8th grade level, I think you have a lot more fans.
Never.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Back in the anime blog days, there were a bunch of blogs. Most notably, I was a fan of people like Super Fanicom, and there was Anime Critique, or however you pronounce that in German, and a guy called Lielanger. And a bunch of like fucking grad school literary criticism students writing about fucking anime, and it was like the most pretentious and the dopest shit there was. Talking about like, I don't. All those blogs are like deleted now. So.
Oh no!
But
nah,
yeah.
my goal is just to make content until somebody makes a channel pretty much like mine, and then I can stop making content. That's my goal.
I think it'll be a while. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think most of the people doing anime are, exactly very well placed in the academic system.
Yeah, it's expensive. I don't
Yeah.
blame
I'll
a
be
lot.
honest, I don't think most of the people making videos are even that familiar with anime.
Well, yeah, duh. I mean, that I've been saying that for ages. But actually, I haven't been saying that for ages because I've been saying that in private when I talk with Digi for ages. I haven't been saying that to anybody else for ages.
I mean,
yeah.
you look at like Explanation Point, for example, calling him out right now.
Who's Explanation Point?
I
Shout outs to Explanation Point.
yeah, because I was on his live stream, I was in his chat, and I was going on about like a Togi Zoshi for like 10 minutes.
The hell?
And then people were like, please stop.
What?
So yeah, I'm calling him out. I don't think he's completed like 30 anime.
Well, I mean, like someone like Giga has completed like 300 anime, and that's fucking nothing. I think the problem is when you're an anime YouTuber, generally speaking, you're more interested in talking about anime than you are interested in anime yourself. Like your passion becomes less understanding anime and more socializing about anime or explaining your perspective about anime. And that's just like a draining process with nothing being tossed back into the tank.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying there needs to be like a hierarchy of people. Oh, you need to have seen like you must see this amount of anime before you're allowed to ride the roller coaster.
But
I'm not saying that, but like
I think a little bit of like keeping your ego in check is nice. And,
yeah,
you know, always going back and kind of looking over things and trying to learn something new and come to a different.
Yeah, that's my problem with a lot of people is that they're like, especially on Anna Twitter, I've noticed this. A lot of people they're very much interested in having their own ideas be regurgitated than they are in learning anything new. And this isn't everybody, but it's some people I've noticed, and it's a bit disheartening.
Well, I mean, any Twitter is full of people of the other sort too, but like I don't want to speak ill of anybody, you know. But like Kevin from Sakuga Borough, great guy. I respect him a lot. You know, he knows a lot about anime. One of the few people I'd say who knows more about anime production than I do. And that's not fucking, you know, me bragging on myself. There's just not many people left anymore. You know, a lot of them have kind of gotten.
They're dropping like flies. They're going down by one man.
No, seriously, they are. It's so hard to find anybody to talk to with this sort of thing anymore. But anyways, yeah, he knows a lot.
Yeah,
you know, I respect his opinion on things, but at the same time, he keeps regurgitating these goddamn retarded rumors from Futaba, and it's really annoying when you see other people in the community who follow him and they're just like spewing out what he's saying, and you're like, this is. I was in the thread where they posted this. It's just one guy blabbering about something. You know, it's like it's not academia. That's the problem. There's no verifiability or citations or anything here. You know, like it's ultimately just a community of fans who take themselves too seriously, and that's kind of the problem.
Oh yeah, Joe, by the way, there's a question you might want to answer.
Yeah.
What? Are you suggesting that Joe doesn't want to answer all the questions?
Yes, he doesn't, because there were certain questions.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, it's the most recent
Is there a catalog for all the good anime blogs out there? Is that the question?
No, it's about reaction videos. I thought you might want to answer that because.
Oh, shame. If you wanted a catalog, I have one, but reaction videos.
I used to do reaction videos.
Who did? Joe? Seriously?
I used to do reaction videos, yeah.
The hell?
I used to do, so like my anime reaction video gimmick was I would talk about the visual language of shows as they were happening. And a lot of people find it really boring.
Yeah, because it is really boring.
Shut up.
Oh man, do you remember that one time you did the Overlord live reaction and you talked trash about sent anime stuff?
I don't recall that. I recall somebody editing that to make it look like I did.
I don't know, man. I think it really happened. The proof is in the pudding, man.
Dirty hit job.
I think people watch reaction videos. I think people watch reaction videos for the same reason they watch like streams and stuff, because one, it's a way to kind of vicariously experience what other people are feeling, and two,
exactly why.
And no, it's not just that. And two, it's to have somebody to react to with. It's almost like some sort of having a virtual friend, you know, having somebody there to talk about things and makes you feel a little less lonely. It helps you kind of reaffirm your own opinions, right?
There's a lot of reaffirming, yes, because like a lot of people who go in, they know, like, they responded to something in a specific way, and now they want to see if people responded to that the same way they did.
I think when you look at analysis videos, or hell, even movie reviews and stuff, a huge factor of their popularity is that fact. You look at something like Nostalgia Critic or whatever, and what they're doing, that is not a review that you can watch and then go watch a movie. It's not like an impression designed to encourage you to watch or not watch a movie. It's something you watch after the fact, so you can have somebody like kind of explain it to you, right? And kind of help you digest these emotions that you felt. It's almost cathartic in a way. Like when I was a kid and I watched something like very confusing, you know, when I was like 12 and watched Razefon or something, you know, I go and read an anime blog because they explained it to me, or at least give me a different perspective on it that helped me understand what I was feeling. And I think that's a great thing. I think it's fucking fantastic that people are doing that.
Yeah, sometimes what I like to do, because my big niche for me is like early to mid 2000s anime. That's my thing. So I like to go on like old anime ski like forum posts and look at like discussions there, because I can't really find some of these shows. You can't really find much, and it's just like an interesting way because sometimes these people would put a lot more like thought into what they were talking about than like you'd expect.
Oh yeah, definitely. If anything, you want a great archive for that, Mega Tokyo forums. That used to be the big
Oh
thing.
yes, Mega Tokyo.
What's it called? Nobody liked that goddamn webcomic, but for some reason it became like big gathering. I was there, Digi was there. What's it called? A lot of prominent anime bloggers were there back when anime bloggers were relevant, and we talked about all sorts of shit, and it was amazing. It was some of the best discussion I've had. Like, I think out of the best anime discussion I've had anywhere on the internet, it's like Mega Tokyo forums, the comment sections of a guy called 2DT's blog, and A on 4chan at 3 a.m. back in 2009. Those are the three best times, three best places and times where you can discuss anime.
My first forum experience was on the 4Kids forums back in 2006.
Oh my god, dude.
Good lord.
Under the account Naruto59788.
Oh my dude. How old are you?
Wow, Roger, you just doxed yourself.
No, because you can look up that account name, and there's a forum post from the arlongpark.net forums where they're talking about how they derepped me. And I looked back a few years earlier on some of my old posts right before the 4Kids forums shut down, and they were some of the most cringy nonsense.
I mean, you were kids.
Yeah, to be fair, I was like 8 years old when I did that, but
we've all done cringy nonsense things when we were kids.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, what'd you do, Joe?
I'm not gonna say, but
I'll say if you say. Come on,
a lot of the people in this voice chat know what I've done.
Give me a hint. I don't know.
Well, let's just say that I'm not actually British.
I think I can guess.
I have no idea. I'm completely lost.
Video?
Huh?
The slapping video?
That was pretty bad too.
You were ripped in that one though.
The video that I have with the most views is not on my main channel. It's on a different channel where I'm just getting slapped for like good 10 seconds. And I can't delete that video because I don't have the old logins. Yep.
It's fine. Nobody knows what you look like anyways.
Not yet, anyway.
What happened to that YouTube channel you said you were going to start, Econ?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
What's it called? I keep writing stuff, and then I keep throwing it in the trash because I think it's stupid. I'm like writing something halfway through, and I'm thinking, hey, this is really stupid. When really I know, like, in terms of quality, it's better than most anything you'll see on AniTube. But, what's it called? I do need to get this finished, though. But I think a lot of hesitation is that I end up like you, Joe.
Okay.
I mean, no offense. It's just that, I have a fear that I'll end up being too pretentious and, like, alienating everybody but a tiny audience, and there's, like,
You write the word ontic nature and you say gross.
No, seriously, every single time I go and revise a script, I'm thinking, how do I make this dumber? How do I remove a reference and make this easier to understand? And I think that's, perfectly fine. I mean, I work as a teacher, so I'm kind of used to, or at least I like to explain it in a way that as many people get it as possible. But
that's cool.
Not to say there's like no value in like discussing things and sort of dialectic and videos that are concerned more about exploring ideas than educating people about things. But at the same time, you know, I don't really have an objective goal in mind. It's a little hard to get going. I guess the hardest part is taking that first step, you know.
Yeah,
And
I think
say- and
I think
say-
a lot
and
of
say,
people,
I'm
you know,
gonna-
they
I'm
don't
gonna-
want to
I'm
put
gonna-
out something bad.
Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
saying, you know, I'm gonna take the dive and jump into the mosh pit and expose myself as an anti-tuber, even though I, you know, probably most famous for hating on anti-tubers.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, if I just screw up here, then it's like I'm just gonna be the laughing stock of the internet.
I mean, might as well give it a shot.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'll have the script done before New Year's.
Yeah. Wait. Do you mind if I repeat my catchphrase from earlier? Ever tried, ever failed, no matter. Try again, fail better.
That's not your catchphrase. It's from Samuel Beckett.
No, it was from your anime stuff video, right?
I used to say that a lot. Probably.
I'm sure
yeah.
you did. You seem like the kind of person who would do that.
It's like, I'm gonna give advice to this Irish playwright. Why not?
I'd rather not.
Well, we've got about. I'd say we got about 3 minutes because this would have been like a good 3 hours now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got about 3 minutes. Does anybody have any? Let's see if we've got any last things in the chat. Let's see here.
There was a question about, is there a list of good blogs or something?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
I could. Let me see how many of them still exist and are still alive. I used to be a very avid blog reader. What's it called? Okay, I still have my old folder. Let's see. There was My Sword is Unbelievably Dull, which was Digi's old blog, which I stopped reading after he turned it into a My Little Pony blog. There was 2D Kaleidoscope, which no longer exists. There's Batzai, which no longer exists. Actually, no, it still exists. Last post, 2015. BATESZI.me. That was a good blog. I mean, it doesn't get posted. It doesn't get any, new content or anything. There was Ogiue Maniacs, OGIUE which started off writing about Genshiken, but around 2011 made a series of really nice posts about Madoka.
He's still on Twitter.
Huh?
Still on Twitter.
He's still on Twitter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's done a PhD, publishes occasionally.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Boy. Big boy Carl.
Bunch of all those anti-blogger guys were pretentious fucks back in the day.
Sorry,
Okay,
he's a pretentious fuck for doing a PhD.
Yes, he is.
Jeez.
What do you think the P in PhD stands for? Come on.
What's he think of himself?
Doctor of Philosophy.
Obviously, dramatic.
It stands for pretentious dickhead.
Where's the H?
Wait, what?
What, are you
Wait,
correct?
what
Are you correcting? Are you correcting my
PUH?
spelling? Are you correcting my spelling now? God, what a pretentious dickhead.
Oh, got me there.
Oh no, I joined just to say Zentagon. I liked your video and the thing. I thought it was better than Digi's.
On the what thing?
The YouTube,
The anthology of mice, whatever it's called.
Oh, did you? Thank
Yeah.
you.
the anthology of nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said the anthology of mice. And I'm like, are we talking about Jamba again?
I mean, I don't know.
What the hell is the anthology of mice?
Anthology of mice.
The anthology of mice.
Mr. Nice Guy.
Sorry, we should be
Great.
saying the anthology of Nice. But...
Mr. Nice Guy made a massive collab between a bunch of different anti-tubers.
Oh yeah, I remember that, and I said something mean about it, and Roger here lynched me over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
You got a
funny.
pummel him, man. They got
Well,
they got
I've
no
made,
beef,
I've
right?
made a bit of a I've
Come
made a
on.
bit of a career off of like us having a beef. So yeah.
Why? I don't have a career. What career could you make off of having beef with me?
You're
You call
equal,
him a wet
man.
blanket.
Roger just
Nobody gives a shit about me.
Oh wait, yeah, my beef with Goat Jesus too.
Oh man,
What the
you
fuck
called him a
is
wet
that? I
blanket,
don't-
dude. That's
Yeah.
like
Ooh.
he may
Oh,
as well have
weird.
just killed his mother. I mean,
Yeah.
if someone called me a wet blanket, I'd just completely shut down. I'd probably never speak to another human ever again.
Yeah, I gotta stop
That's a
bullying
fear
him.
of,
I mean, calling him a wet blanket. I went too far.
Yeah,
It
that's
wasn't-
like
It wasn't that. It was just that, it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really that.
No, I
comfortable
went
with
too far with you. I'm
I mean,
talking
yeah.
about goat Jesus when I
that.
just
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
and then like
What
he
went
blocked
Twitter
me
for a
and
while.
like did like a huge freak out over it.
Yeah, he quit Twitter for a while.
Laugher Style donated $2 saying Econ did nothing wrong.
Oh, that's because you don't know about all the Jews in my basement.
Oh my god.
Oh,
We're trying to save jungle children here. You just
Yeah.
come out
Wait,
with
was
Holocaust
Netju
references.
no Susume about you getting like a bunch of like mailing in a bunch of Jewish people off the internet?
What?
Netju.
Oh my god, Jesus
Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
God damn it.
Wait, we're raising money for
Yeah,
a
we might get
children charity?
demonetized.
The hell?
Sorry.
Yeah, this live stream, I don't turn on super chat in my live streams except for this one.
Okay.
It's a pre New Year's Eve live stream because I'm actually
what charity are you making money for?
Doctors Without Borders.
That's a really good thing to donate to.
Yeah, but I don't know what that has to do with jungle children.
It's Jungle Children is a reference to a book we read. It's a really terrible book.
It's a masterpiece, dude.
Oh, it's about working out without going to the gym.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten back to me. I messaged him on LinkedIn. I wanted to clarify that initials thing and the ghostwriter. It says he's read it, but he hasn't responded. I don't know why.
I'm going to at everybody on Twitter. Once the Google Super Chat check comes in, I'm going to be all like, this donation was made possible thanks to the contributions of all of these people. We have saved so many Syrian refugees.
Syrian jungle children.
Yes.
Well, yeah. The Rohingya.
Mm-hmm.
The Rohingya?
Oh yeah, and Steve Jobs, rip in peace.
Yes.
Well, there's one thing that Mr. Jobs told me a long time ago. He said, "Don't settle."
Isn't that the OnePlus logo? It's the OnePlus slogan, never settle.
No,
Yeah, it is.
that was his speech. What university was that? He did a speech like at a
Oh.
university, and he's just like, "Don't settle."
Oh, okay.
And ever since, I have not settled.
That has a very dark connotation because
Nah, man, that's what that's the lesson you take when you start playing Civ 5. Don't settle.
Wait, considering what?
Don't
Like
settle.
Steve Jobs' personal life, don't settle?
his personal life is very
It's very don't settle. He's like, I got a family. I should probably settle down now. No, let's not. I'd rather
Don't
not.
settle.
Don't settle down. Don't settle.
It's turn 27. I still have, that one settler, but I'm not gonna settle.
I read that Walter Isaacson Steve Jobs book, and I did not appreciate how they spent like half a chapter talking about the taskbar, and I was just like, God damn it.
I didn't read that. Was it any good?
There are some parts of it that were very interesting. There are when he the story about him and his daughter was actually pretty interesting in a lot of instances. But there are other parts where I was kind of very annoyed because it was Steve was at the Apple campus, and then there was some strapping young 18-year-old boy with a dick full of cum, and he showed Steve how to press the minimize, and it had this animation. Steve was just like, I need you on my team right now. And then they spent 3 pages talking about him being on the team. And I'm just like, this is just going.
I mean, nowadays these books like to, especially stuff like biographies like this, they want to be super personal and extremely meticulous with details like this, so you feel something for the characters, like it was a fucking novel or something. I miss the good old days where it was just this person lived, this person did this, and then he died. The end. You know what I blame? You know what I blame for all this?
Obama.
No, I blame Hiroshima.
Steve
I blame
Jobs
fucking
manga.
Hiroshima for all of this crap.
Blame the
What?
what? You blame Hibakusha literature?
What?
Hibakusha literature.
No, I played Hiroshima, the book,
Oh,
because that was like a very important piece in journalism, because it was covering Hiroshima from the perspective of 8 survivors, and it was written like a novel. And then right after that was published, everybody was like, "We got to do Hiroshima, we got to do Hiroshima," and then it was just fucking Hiroshima from there on. You can't have a good history book now without characters and shit like that.
Yeah.
Can't just talk about a bunch of people doing shit and dying and fighting
I
in
have
wars.
come to the firm belief I have no idea why people still talk about Crispus Attucks.
Who?
He was that black guy who was famous for being black and getting shot in the Boston Massacre.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like I genuinely
Boston
don't know
Massacre
why
of the
Crispus
18th
Attucks specifically.
The
Like
Boston Massacre of the 18th century?
yeah, in the 18th century one. Yeah. Crispus Attucks, he just gets shot, and that's what he's known for, is just getting shot.
Never heard of the guy, but I mean,
Like every time I would study, because in American schools you study the same exact history over and over and over and over, and we'd always learn about Crispus Attucks, and I'm like, why is this guy important? He just got shot. Like that's the only thing they mention about him.
I mean, probably because he was black and he got shot. So that was probably like the first instance of like police brutality or something.
I mean, arguably.
So I didn't think about it like that. I mean,
And that's not a grand tradition that has continued for 300 years.
what
I mean-
a legacy.
Back then, though, you didn't have, the Boston police or whatever. You didn't have them sniffing paraplegics for marijuana like you do nowadays. But
Well, I mean, reefer was legal, so.
now, if only back in the 18th century we had someone like Adachi on the police force, man.
Nadachi did nothing wrong.
He would, hey man, he'd combo like nobody's business, okay?
Creepy raper.
Persona 4 Arena is such a terrible game. Good
I
God.
love that game.
Auto
The
combos.
Ultra Suplex
I will-
hold.
Auto
fight
combos are
you,
the most
son.
cancerous thing.
I will fight you.
Yeah, you'll fight nobody because nobody's fucking plays that
It's a
game.
dead game, but I will fight you.
Just play like Guilty Gear like a regular weeb. Good lord.
I played Guilty.
Nah, man, I'm telling you right now that real fighting game fans play Zatch Bell Momoto Battles for the Nintendo Game.
What's my
Oh my
position on
gosh.
the dispute over the rape of Nanking between Japan and China? I think that like there's really no dispute. The Japanese want to ignore that it happened. The Chinese people want to remember that it happened and focus on the fact that it happened so they can forget about all the communist purges that happened around the same time. So it's like, if they can just say, oh, we were bad, but look at the Japanese. Look at what they did. Oh, that's worse. Don't worry about us. Just focus on hating the Japanese. So it's like a convenient conflict for both sides, because on one side it garners nationalist support, and on the other side it garners nationalist support. So
Hell yeah. I gotta go now.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the rape of Nanking is a great, festive.
I guess it's a good place to end this.
Yeah, man.
Thank you to everybody for showing up. Thank you for everybody for donating. Your support means a lot. And once Google actually sends the super chat money, I don't know how they do it, but once Google sends it, I will post up a picture on Twitter as proof that I did not run off with your $30-something. So thank you to Econ, Jaden, Rito, Roger, and Zent for showing up.
Hell yeah.
And
That's all I can do.
You
They're
didn't mention
guilty
the others.
until proven guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, they showed up. They didn't stick around, so they don't get them.
oh,
thank you to Zoe, Kenjinator, Matt, who else?
Sheep.
S Ninja,
Sheep.
Sheep.
hey, you got $500.
5 more bucks from Enough is
Jungle
Gold.
Children?
Oh, Heart
Yeah.
of Gold.
My
Pepper.
God, Laugher Style,
You're a
just
terrific
you're
person.
just a regular
Yeah.
e-superhero, my dude. You're just
Maybe-
saving families.
Maybe I
The
should
next
start one
All
of
the
Dende
Jungle
is
Children,
gonna-
man.
Maybe I should start one of these things.
The
so
next
people
Dende will
give
get
me money,
on
and then I can
14.
spend it on I can spend it on poor, starving idols.
You're gonna spend it. I just spending on. I was gonna say, like the moment if you were going to say anything except for Idol, those would be like, no, you're not. You're just
Oh, come on. We both know if you had that spare money, you'd just be reading more isekai crap or whatever.
I'm reading 230 right now, and they're all the same.
We all have our weaknesses, you know, even if we, you know, talk with big words or seem smart and, you know, elitist, you know. Joe still likes his fucking isekai crap, and I still like fucking idols.
You like fucking idols?
I mean, you're not supposed to fuck an idol, sure, but, you know, if I was
Yeah,
like
I thought
Japanese
they were
business-
banned from doing that.
if I was a sleazy Japanese businessman with too much money, I would totally fuck idols, man.
That's awful.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what everybody would do. That's the dream,
Yeah,
isn't
I wouldn't.
that's culpable evidence there. Don't make any Mr. Cynical remarks, or you might be the next anti-rapist.
it? Wasn't it Mr. Anime who was no, he didn't rape
No, Mr. Anime
my
killed his
man,
parents.
Mr. Anime.
Yeah, come on. That's
The guy who
that's-
recommended
one of
cause
ones.
prayers to your preteen son or daughter.
What?
Oh, in his review of the Cosmopolitan Prayers, or Cos Prayers, which is an ecchi series, he said at the end, "I wouldn't recommend this to anyone except your preteen son or daughter."
Who did?
So essentially, he recommended an ecchi series to a bunch of preteens.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's what they were designed for, though.
I don't know, man. Cos Prayers, smash hit, love. They were made to send a message to Pony Canyon. I bet you 100%.
You can't
I'm telling you,
bet.
the
You
director
can't
was.
bet 100%. You have to put down. You have to
I'm
put
telling
down
you, Love
fungible
was
goods.
like the original girlish number, man. He
He
was
bets
like
you
totally making fun of
100%
the
of all
industry.
his assets and wealth.
Whoa.
Damn, son.
Actually, my
Okay,
assets,
yeah, but
my assets aren't bad right now because I invested in Cardano while it was still like nothing. So now I have a few $1,000s in that.
No, I thought you were going to say your assets are pretty good right now because you're thinking about the idols.
Should have invested in Bitcoin, man.
All right. I really have to. I really have to shut this off.
Maybe I should just sell my.
It's gonna go on
just sell my,
forever.
See you in 20 minutes. See you in 20 minutes, guys.
All right. See you guys later. And
It is a bad show.
enjoy 2017. What's left of it?
Today's not New
Yeah.
Year's Eve though.
No, not yet. Well, I said what's left of it.
It is here. It's 4 p.m.
Oh, now it's New Year's Eve, but it's not like not really New Year's Eve. It's not like the eve of the New Year's Eve. It's just like.